From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics. From the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Hey guys, welcome to LG Ultragear presents Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial and apparel partner 656. My name is Crips and with me is Salty. We're going to be taking you through today's game, and we have an interesting one on our hands today. It's Salt Esports versus Orgless 5. And of course, I have to have Salty with me while I'm casting a game for Salt Esports. The joke never dies.
E- Exactly. I think it's been ages since the joke is not funny anymore, but let's just
It
face
never
it.
was.
It never was, but all right, fine. I'm always there for Salt Esports, and they're going to be playing against Orgless 5 with a massive change. Sai is no more in the lineup. We've got a different player in the form of Asite. Crips, just imagine. Orgless 5 without Sai now. They had problems to deal with before, and now they have problems to deal with now as well.
I mean, theory crafting for Oculus 5 was always difficult because of the addition of Hacker. We haven't seen too much from him yet. It's not like he can't stand against all the tough opponents over here, but of course, the amount of coordination that he has with this team is not the same as other players like Sai, who've spent more time with the team. And now that you have two new players in the team, Hacker and Asite, what is it gonna be like? Maybe August 5 will play like a bunch of baboons who have a mission, and that is to kill their opponents. If they play recklessly and still overwhelm Salty Sport with their superior firepower, then we might have an upset win on our hands. But on paper, Salty Sport does seem like the stronger team over here, naturally because they've been playing together for longer and their lineup is more stable. And stability, as we have learned over the last few weeks, is very important apparently.
Exactly, it is very important, but we'll have a look at the players who are very stable right at the top of the charts. Let's have a look at the MVP standings and let's find out which are the players who are going to be shining the brightest. And right at the very top, the shining light of Gauntlet, there is no doubt it is going to be Paradox. 131 kills on this man, 259 ACS, and 5 MVP. This man has single-handedly led True Rippers to the top of their group standings. Of course, they've got a loss to deal with. That is not the best starts according to True Rippers' own good standards. But to be honest, I feel like Paradox has done his job. Next up, we've got Raw Fuel, and no surprises there as well. Godchild, we talked about him. We talked about Team Arrow's hoodie as well, and how I'm jealous that I don't have one. And fourth position, we have got Shooter. No surprises there as well, Crips.
Yeah, we got to see some amazing stuff from Shooter yesterday, but unfortunately, none of these players will be in the lobby today. Today, we have the players of Salt Esports and, of course, Orgless 5. I think a lot of them have the potential to make it to the top four of the MVP standings. Maybe after today's game, we'll see the whole standings shake up. But for now, we'll be focusing on the game in front of us. Now, Salty, we've already discussed what happens when there's a lot of lineup changes. And one thing that has stood out is that you can never count out the team that has gone through this change. Sure, there are several teams who have picked up new players or have changed their lineups, but that doesn't really hinder them from doing the damage in Gauntlet. And speaking of doing damage, let's take a look at the group standings and see where which team stands.
Exactly. We'll find out which teams are right at the top and which teams are struggling this season. You can see that right off the get go, we've got God Particles and Team Exploit right at the tippy top of the group with their unbeaten streaks. God Particles with 4 victories for themselves, 8 points to work with. Team Exploit, they've got 3 wins and 6 points. Orgless 5, though. Very surprisingly, they won one game and lost one. Of course, the one which they lost was against God Particles, an insane comeback. And to be honest, even that game was very tight because when Sai was in this lineup, I kind of thought that he would be able to carry on the jet role and the duelist role and actually take the team forward. But nonetheless, speaking of other teams, we've got Exili, Salt, both of these teams are at 2 points from the 2 games that they have played. Team Arrow at 2 points from 3 games that they have played. And then comes the danger territory, the relegation zone. Of course, this is the last season. The relegation wouldn't really mean a lot. But M42, their bad run continues this season as well. 4 losses from the 4 games that they have played. They only could bang 2 points from those games, and then we have Flame on who have only played 2 games. Not really the best of starts for this very shining and hype a team with great potential.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really know much about Shining, but there is an old team which is reliable, but they are definitely not rusty. Let's take a look at Salt Esports and their lineup for today.
Absolutely, you've got Gunner right at the start. You've got Jivix, you've got Darky, you've got Stranger, and you've got Demon as well, right? Each and every one of these players, they've got immense potential to go for those firepowers, to go for those kills. And to be honest, there are times when Jivix and Stranger would be like, "All right, guys, the rest three of you, you guys can chill. We're gonna carry the shoulder. We're gonna carry the responsibilities." And they individually, single-handedly destroy the opposition when it's required. Now, Salt Esports, their prime strength would be their strategies. They're mostly they rely on their slow approach to the game. They sort of don't really go for brute forcing the opposition, much unlike what a Team Exploit does. Now we know that Salt Esports have always played second fiddle to what Team Exploit did, but in this season, I'm probably expecting for more. We talked much about what the strategy of Team Salt Esports would look like. Let's see which player actually stands out the most out of these five players, and let's see who will have most responsibility on their shoulders.
That's right, and of course, it is none other than Jivix, the Jet, has to be the star fragger of the team. Unlike the players of Team Exploit from Pakistan who like to play very aggressively, I'm talking about Shooter over here, who we saw in the MVP standings. Jivix has a very different style of playing Jet. I mean, he will still get into the aggro angles, but he knows when to fall back. He's not greedy, and I think that's probably why he will be a more disciplined player as compared to someone like Shooter. But does he still have the raw mechanical skill that Shooter possesses? And are those mechanical skills going to be enough to help them overthrow a wild Orgless 5 today? I guess we'll have to wait just a little bit more to find out.
Exactly. You look at the KD nation, you might feel like, oh, wait, he's probably not one of the most impressive Jet, but I feel like this man does what is required of him, creates a space and relies that information on the rest of his team. And this team is not revolving around Shooter. Like, for example, if we talk about Team Exploit, we know the Shooter and
Yeah.
his Jet, the entire team revolves around that guy and him getting those frags. Team Salt Esports doesn't function that way. They're more like a unit and they play like a unit. Jivix and his primary role is to get that entry frag in and enable the team to move forward and decide. That is what he does, and that is what he does best. And there's no doubt that he will be the shining light for the team. Of course, a lot of responsibility will be on his shoulders, but I want to find out how he can actually implement that and execute his strategies on the field as well. We have another team on the field that we need to talk about, and that is going to be Team Orgless 5. And I'm pretty sure you might be very surprised looking at the lineup. Maybe we have incorporated this in this graphic. No, we haven't, but it doesn't matter. Sai, the man right at the center, is going to be in the lineup no more. Instead, there is going to be another very high flying Jet Crips, and that is going to be Asite.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know much about Asite. You probably don't even see his face. Maybe you'll see it once we get the player cameras online. But as far as I've heard, Asite used to be one of those players who was in the top 100 of the Radiant leaderboards of the region. Now, how does that translate to a performance in the tournament? We don't know for sure because obviously the leaderboards do not measure tournament performances. They only measure performances in competitive games. So we know for a fact that he has the firepower, but how will that firepower complement the playstyle of his team? Will it even help them, or will he be treated like an individual weapon that goes in, gets the kill, and that's his job done? Then you don't consider him for the rest of the tactics. Of course, things get a little complicated, and we saw how Hacker himself was struggling to mesh with the team properly, even though he's known them for quite a while. He was the manager in the previous Team EXO roster, so even though he spent a lot of time with them, we see how difficult it is for players to adjust to a new team even though they've spent time with them off the server. So I don't know how much Asite will be able to mesh in. But speaking of Asite, let's take a look at the player who's going to be in the spotlight for this team today. And unfortunately, the one man who used to be the face of the team, probably one of the most popular players in the team as well, is no longer playing. So things are gonna get a little dicey
Yeah.
without Sai on the server.
Absolutely. Now the topic remains is who is going to be the one who calls the shots for the team. You've got I guess you've got three professional players. Speaking of professional players, you can see you've got Black Hawk, you've got Wimp, and you've got God Vexy. I think the role will kind of shuffle between either of Wimp or God Vexy, but no one really knows, right? And considering that you've got two new players, Asite as well as Black Hawk, you don't really know how the team is going to function. We kind of predicted that Hacker would be playing a sort of a duelist role to actually carry less responsibility on his shoulders and let him do his
Um,
aim, do the talking, but he has been pulling off the KJ role and has been very versatile, Crips.
yeah, Yeah, he is being versatile, but he keeps on switching between the Killjoy and the Astra. And while I do believe that Blackhawk is one of the best Astra players in the country, I am a little surprised when they let Hacker take over that role. But then you give him Killjoy, and I think he does the job well enough. So maybe we'll get to see that again. How does Asita fit into this thing now? We don't really know for sure. Wimp and Godvexy obviously are great with the initiator role, but I think they can pick up the duelist if necessary. So we'll take a look. But before we get into what agents these guys are picking, let's take a look at where they will be facing each other. We'll head into the maps, ladies and gentlemen, and none other than Haven, Icebox have been picked. Ascent always left for the decider, no surprises over there. But I am actually surprised that it's Salty Sports who's picked up Haven instead and not August 5.
To be honest, at this point, I'm not sure if Orgless 5 do have a very strong map for themselves, because the thing is, every single map that they were good on, there was a factor which was involved, and that was Sai getting those opening picks, Sai peeking out, getting that man advantage established. He was a very key aspect for the team getting those victories. I still remember the map against God Particles where Orgless 5 established an immense advantage right at the start. It was the map of Ascent. But sadly, Orgless 5 have moved to other priorities right now. They've got their priorities set, and that is going to be Icebox. Of course, Icebox basically means God Vexy needs to tighten up his socks and get really good at carrying the team, to be honest, because otherwise you see the rest of the players. You've got Blackhawk, you've got Wimp. I think Wimp should be playing the KJ. Blackhawk might play the Viper as well. So the only person who can be like the core offense or the core resistance for the opponent team is going to be God Vexy. The rest of the two players, Asita, I've never really seen him before. Hacker, even though I have a lot of belief in him, trust on him, I think like he's still unproven against a lot of different opponents. Haven, though, Salt Esports pick, I think they should be able to take it quick and easy. Even though we haven't really seen all that tactical depth from them on this map, I feel like they've got good defaults and they can switch between those defaults quite often. And they're starting on attack, so that kind of gives them an advantage. I think if they get the first half of the map, they can take the momentum with them as well.
I'm glad that you mentioned defaults because I think that's something that even Salt Esports excels in. And of course, holding the defaults for a new team is not that big of a problem, but figuring out what to do next after your default stage of the round is done and going into the mid game, that's what becomes difficult. We'll jump into the agent selection, ladies and gentlemen, and I guess this is where we will find out the answer to most of our burning questions. Hacker and Nisite, two players who haven't really fixed their role in the team, now have to determine what they will be playing. And Nisite has picked up the Jet, stands to reason why. I mean, he was one of the top 100 players of the Radiant leaderboard in the region. So give him the Jet, and hopefully he will still be able to show us some really nice frags. But will he be able to fill in the void that Sai has left in the team? That is the question that I think we'll still not have the answers to yet. In fact, I don't think even one map is enough to answer that question. We'll have to look through this entire series to figure out.
Crips, we have also got some interesting changes. You talked about how Hacker has actually replaced Blackhawk with the Astra role. Once again, we get to see Blackhawk pulling out the breach, and Hacker is taking the Astra. That means that he will be the believe from both the ends.
Yeah, from both the ends, the lineups are similar. Jet, Astra, Killjoy, and Sova. So all the lineups are similar. Some roles have been switched up. I mean, Blackhawk is a very good player on the breach, and of course, he will be the perfect initiator for that role. But will Hacker be able to pull off the ridiculous stuff that Blackhawk could with the Astra? I mean, he was an all-rounder back then. He could flank as well while making sure that his team on the other part of the map stays safe. Whereas with the breach, Blackhawk will need to have a more hands-on approach and be present with his team instead of lurking around.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just have a few seconds before we run into the game, ladies and gentlemen. We kick things off with Salt Esports on the attack. Right off the get-go, you can see the Stranger trying to get that information from the C side. Meanwhile, the rest of the players try to funnel themselves through Garage. Most of them have actually walked in, but Wimp will be the frontal offense. Already the alarm bot and the nanoswarms have been put into position. Wait, he doesn't check him.
What did I just watch? An ill-placed Nebula actually helps out Wimp to get that kill, and now he's inside Garage. The one position which these guys checked is now gone unpunished, and the tables have turned. The defenders now are on the back foot, but the only thing working for them is that the Sova and the Breach are low on the attacking side.
Nice.
Stranger, of course, capitalizing on the lost HP without even revealing his own position, gets both those kills. Even Gunner steps out. And Wimp, the one who started this whole table switching thing, is now on the receiving end of beating. 9 HP and clock ticking. There you go. He's been spotted. A triple peak is about to come in. 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, a triple peak with the fault line. Bro, the odds of winning that one are next to 0.
I love that countdown actually, because 3, 2, 1, you were very, very right with it. As soon as you hit one, the player fell down. But I love the fact that Wim could use that position. Once again, you get to see that quick approach from these players from Orgless 5. We've got Wim, Blackhawk, and Godbexy, the primary 3 players whom we are focusing on. They're already kind of living up to the hype. They're already kind of living up to their expectations. But the rest of the 2 players, it always will be difficult for them to kind of counter a 5-man push that comes in the mid. It's way too overwhelming for them to counter. And once again, we saw something of the similar sort. Salt Esports, you get to see, right? There's no real change in plans. They're just playing their default so far. The first one was a C-Cum garage hit. This time, they're focusing on A. The spike is traveling towards E side. Meanwhile, they've still got that presence towards garage and mid. Maybe preventing a backstab from coming through.
I think the backstab is not that big of a possibility yet. Salt Esports are not even started knocking on the doors of the A side. They just leave the jet at the bottom of A long, and they themselves then fall back towards A lobby. They're making some noise on A short as well, hoping that this distraction over here will elude the fact that Orgless 5 are not aware about their jet's position. They make some picks. Still making noise over here, although keep in mind that the players have not fully committed, and while they're making noise on A, 2 of the attackers have snuck into the B side as well, so the options are wide open. Oh my god, Ascent is shutting down those options, shutting down short, and even Wim steps up. The tables have turned all of a sudden, and it's Orgless 5 who's on the verge of winning. If they pull off this round, then the economy of Salt Esports will be completely destroyed, and they've got better weapons to fight with too now. Playing Ring around the roses with the box. Demon might have spotted out the gun barrel, but he did not. Blackhawk, does he know? He can definitely hear Wimp coming around the corner, but will he be able to step in time? No. And now it's down to just 50 HP. Demon has all he needs to win this round, except for time. He can't fall back to any other side. He has to go for the fight, and he wins it! 1v3 straight from the clutches of hell itself. And Demon tells us that he's not any ordinary demon. He is Satan incarnate.
Absolutely, for sure. But this was a win and a half, to be honest, for the side of Team Orgless 5. The way they came back, the way they countered that push, and the fact that they dropped so many weapons from the other camp basically means that the opposition need to reinvest right now. You can see that guns are blazing from their camp. Asita's got a vandal for himself. The entirety of the team has got big rifles. Meanwhile, on the other camp, Salt Esports, they are being forced to bring out the big guns right off the get-go, and the economy doesn't really look very healthy. CT takes a very, very aggressive position and gets rewarded for it. Darky, no sentinel action for Team Salt Esports anymore.
Yeah, and the lack of sentinels means you can start pushing the other sides of the map without worrying about backstabbing. I mean, speaking of backstabs, in the previous round, the Salt Esports guys were in such a perfect position to backstab. They had control of both A and the B side, yet they had lost 4 players. So if that kind of stuff keeps on happening in buy rounds where the impact is a lot more, then I'm starting to feel a little worried. For now, the players of Orgless 5 have read this push perfectly. They have stationed 3 defenders on the A side, appropriately so, because even the spike is present over here. The lurker in the form of Demon has not made his presence known towards Garage yet, but if he makes some noise over there, will the players of Orgless 5 rotate? I don't think they're going to fall for this fake. The spike is starting to move towards Garage now. Gunner has to be the best salesman in the world right now. He's got Jimix also to help him out. They're actually committing the flash and dash. This could actually rotate so many players of Orgless 5, and it keeps 3 of them glued to this side. Only Wimp is present over here, all by himself, left to defend the side from the spike, but at least he spots out the spike, so his death doesn't go in vain. They still have the man advantage and all the information available now.
He did his job. He just brought down Demon to quite low HP. In fact, it's actually Stranger who's very low on HP right now. The rest of the 4 players, they can pull this off so far. Demon trying to be a little aggressive, moving towards Garage can be a risky move because you can see God Vexy coming in. He also got the recon dart as well for himself. So if he spots one guy, he basically will know that there is another one inside the Nebula. Demon almost on the verge of pulling that off, but God Vexy still recovers from it. Dude, that was close. But I mean, even though it was close, I feel like God Vexy was always in control of that round, was always in control of what was happening. Orgless 5 win their first round and very deservedly so.
Yeah, but all these rounds are getting a bit too close for comfort. I mean, I'm starting to notice a trend already that the players of Salt Esports have been successfully managing to sell their picks. In the previous round also, we saw how these guys got so much map control without even breaking a sweat. Sure, that was just an eco, so it doesn't matter all that much. But in this round, they kept 3 of the defenders glued to the A site. And now Wimp did manage to deal quite a lot of damage. But imagine if the players of Salt Esports had just 1 more player alive. If the numbers were a little more neutralized, then the situation could have been very easily taken down by the attackers.
Yeah, maybe, possibly. Jivix once again trying to be a little too aggressive at this point. It is an eco round, so they don't really expect a lot. But the way we've seen Ascent being aggressive in different regions so far, the way we have expected Orgless 5 to play, we have seen difference and we have seen success so far. And then there's nothing to worry about. Sai and his big shoes have been filled so far, but it's just a few rounds that we have seen. But as far as I've seen, I feel there's promise, and there's a lot of it.
Yeah, there is promise, certainly. Will Salt Esports give us some false promises, though? Deliberately getting spotted at shot, then moving towards Garage. How well orchestrated is this hit? I think the push from God Vexy will confirm the beliefs that Salt Esports are not in this region anymore. So I think both the teams are aware about each other's movements, but the rotation is a bit late. Will Hacker arrive on the seaside in time to help Ascent out? Does he even need help? I don't think so. He's shutting them all down by himself, and Wimp is just there for insurance policy. It's just down to Gunner now, and he has to channel all the guns that he can find. Now, he only gets a Spectre, and that too, just dying just a few moments before he dies. So,
yeah,
damage controlled. And they don't even let them
Absolutely.
plant the spike, so all that economic damage, it's not going to be much.
I love the defensive setup coming in from Orgless 5 so far. Now, they've got the KJ utility, which not just covers the C side, but it also covers Garage as well. They have the turret in position. And I love the fact that Ascent quickly repositions himself. He was on the B side the entirety of the round, but as soon as the turret was spotted, he goes back to the C side, positions himself, casually gets 3k for himself, and then dies. He did his job over there perfectly, and there's nothing wrong so far that we have seen in his gameplay.
Same old, same old. Salt Esports are literally not changing a thing about their setup. And the difference is they're being so patient this time around. The aggressive push towards sewers makes sure that the players of Orgless 5 can't play it aggressively like they usually do. Ascent can't do what he generally does, that is getting into sewers and aggressing all the way out front with the operator. He's been forced to relinquish that position. He has control of long, but that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, because the players aren't really pushing long either way.
Exactly.
But they're kind of caught in this position, right? They can't go back. They can't push in through as well because there's Blackhawk. He's got 2 flashes available. And now Ascent has 2 victims right in front. The Nebula goes up, but as soon as it dismisses, he's going to get Demon. No smokes for you right now. Fault line comes through, but nobody gets detained in it. Stranger? Yes, he will. What do they do right now? Rolling Thunder for sure. Entirety of the site has been blown up to pieces. Jiving still trying to survive. You can see all of these players starting to funnel in. See there. In fact, it's Blackhawk as well as Ascent. Both of them just absolutely rattle the entirety of the push that come through.
The rotations that came in from Orgless 5 are also denied. No entry allowed into the site, and it's just Wimp left. Has to dig the round out from the trenches. Otherwise, they'll be in the trenches of Power T after this. He knows exactly where Jivix is. Nano Swarm to push him out. And now the Nano Swarm from Darky reveals his position too. Wimp knew that, but the dink on the head leaves Darky with 10 HP. Barely enough to scrape through the round.
You know, I feel like the Nano Swarm was just enough distraction for Darky to peek out.
Yeah.
That was so well orchestrated.
I mean, He threw it from the left-hand side of the box, which
Yeah,
kind of
and
tempted. I mean, it kind of made Blackhawk, no, not Blackhawk, it kind of made Wimp tempted enough to swing wider. But while he was swinging to anticipate the left push, even Darky revealed his true colors, caught him off guard like that. And the reflex from Wimp was good enough. He did dink him.
yeah, but
Not enough.
Phantom.
Yeah, Phantom. Does Phantom things.
Absolutely. Jivix using a knife for taking down a nanoswarm. Wimp punishes him for it.
Oh,
but
why?
there's a trade. Nice. Right click. Knives have been utilized. Jivix knows the positioning of Hacker as well. Another one comes through. But look at this. CT almost got the frag, but Stranger recovers from the position. Once again, a flash ready inside the Nebula. Trying to be a little cheeky, but can this retake happen? 2v4 right now, especially with 2 ultimates available. They've got the Hunter's Fury, but Blackhawk with a monumental task here. He will be taking down. Nice flash though, but good peek from Jivix.
Yeah, he just pre-fired. Even with his eyes closed, he gets that frag any day. Doesn't engage in this one. Backup flash available from his fellow Breach. God, Bexy will not be able to pull this off. He's better off saving the weapons.
Yeah.
It's just so bad. In fact, at this point, Salt Esports can even try and hunt him down. They have enough
Absolutely.
money to buy in the next round, even if they lose their weapons. So they don't care. They still will chase him. But they know for the fact that if God Vexy carries this Vandal forward in the next round, then the players of Orgless 5 will start buying Spectres to supplement this firepower of the Vandal. They don't want that to happen. If they can find the op that was in Ascet's hands, that would be even better. But hey, there's only so much you can expect from a round like this.
You know, fast pushes from Salt Esports has been really good for them. Team Orgless 5, they've been able to read what Team Salt Esports are doing. They've been able to predict the positionings, and the defense looks good. But the fact that the fast pushes kind of catches a few of those players off guard, especially when you've got 2 non-professional players. The CTA, of course, is performing, but Hacker did struggle in that situation. One flash, and he was basically off of his position, completely stranded in the seaside.
Yeah, and it's not like it's his fault. The counter utility from Gunner is just stellar. It's making Hacker into a little bit of a liability, but it's not even his fault. This time, finally, Salt Esports are doing something different, hitting the B side instead of A. There is a small gap towards A lane that they've left deliberately because it creates a bit of a one-way, although that is a bait that the players of Orgless 5 will not bite. They wanted them to peek on the back of it, but Orgless 5 know well enough to not fall for that temptation. Lockdown initiated, but this will actually force the defenders either out of the site or towards A-Link. Both the places accounted for by Orgless 5. The Rolling Thunder keeps them at bay, but I don't think Stranger needs his guns to stop the DPS from happening. He gets 2 of them? No way that they both lined up, and it's just down to God Vexy. He's getting spammed into smoke, and Stranger is the better Sova over here. No way Salt Esports are able to bring that round back. A wonderful set of utility was used by the players of Orgless 5. In fact, they didn't even fall for the bait that Salt Esports had set up. The Rolling Thunder was perfect, murdered everyone in the site, and it also forces them to go towards A-Link where most of these people are ready. That lockdown was also perfectly placed, but despite making the players of Salt Esports, despite forcing them to make errors, you still will the round, only because of Stranger's Hunter's Fury, and then he gets all the frags too.
Absolutely. I mean, a B plant with a Hunter's Fury, of course, always a very dangerous combination, and especially when you have players like Demon who can supplement that with kills, with his guns coming in from garage and mid. I feel like that was perfect. But just like you mentioned, it was a very expensive round for Orgless 5. They had to invest in that lockdown. They had to invest in that Rolling Thunder to just get inside the B side. I kind of thought like the players of the attackers were a little stranded in the B side, kind of like aliens in Area 51. They had nowhere to go. They were completely caught. And it could have been an easy retake. But no, it wasn't really that. We've got Cosmic Divide as well. It can facilitate the push that's coming through. But Wim playing a risky position.
Spike will not be denied. The Hunter's Fury was used only to deny the plant, but now that that's failed, it becomes a bit difficult. This Cosmic Divide, it makes the players of Orgless 5 so uncomfortable because now they can't peek on the back of it. The lockdown has been committed, which even then boils out more time. So if the Cosmic Divide doesn't get them kills, at least they'll buy some time. And
Nice.
Wimp catches them off guard. Amazing stuff. He's gone berserk with 3 kills. Lockdown destroyed. Now his placements start funneling in. Jivix trying to hold back as long as possible, but it's just down to Blackhawk. And he's been in clutch situations before. Unfortunately, without utility, he has to force Stranger to fight, who has absolutely no intention of even revealing his position. He knows he's won this round, and he's gonna fall back to celebrate in style.
Man, oh man, Stranger doesn't even need guns to defend his spike. Every single time we have seen Salt Esports, you see, the quick adaptation against the defense from Salt Esports, it's just so good to watch. Initially, they tried out slow pushes towards the A side. They tried to get information. They tried C hits as well, which didn't really work out. They lost 2 rounds in the process, but they understood what the defense is like, is the defense is structured like. Now they've got 2 openings for themselves. They got the B side, right? They plant the spike. They either hold it from within, or they put Stranger in this window position from where he has been extremely successful in holding down the site, or they use the garage to hit the C site with absolute brute force. Both of them have worked out, and this time yet again we have a different approach. Smoke comes in, Jivix will push out. A counter flash definitely is there, but Jivix is gonna find Blackhawk with completely closed eyes.
Oh my god, Blackhawks are really completely denied. They dodge everything that he's throwing at them, and they're pouring down like flies. These guys have absolutely no remorse. Ascent finds an opportunity, but the plant still goes down, even though he kills Gunner. Such unfortunate timing for the players of Orgless 5. It's just down to Godbexy and Wimp, and they don't even have the guns they need to fight this one.
Yeah. Sheriff's basically a 1v3 right now. Wim still trying to find a kill for himself. I feel like if he can get 3 kills, I mean, the entire team can get 3 kills off of this round, it would be sort of a victory for them, but the time isn't really in their favor. He does get the 3rd kill for the team, but that's about it. 7-2 is the scoreline, and as you can find out, Team Salt Esports is sort of rolling away with it. They're taking the game away with them, and there's nothing that Orgless 5 are doing which is keeping them at bay. For now, the kind of different strategies that we have seen so far from Salt Esports is winning the game for them. There is no predictability. They're keeping the opposition at their toes. They're not really doing fakes, right? But the general fake is the fact that they're mixing up their default. Sometimes they're going A, B, C, garage. Every single avenue is being well utilized to get themselves around, and they're mixing it up so beautifully. Last time it was a C hit. This time, once again, they immediately switch back to A.
Let's see what the switch up will be this time. They start off slow, obviously spreading out across A lobby. The 2 of their players holding garage just outside of it.
Oh, no.
Ascent, brave enough to
Playing too
repeat.
ambitious.
He will be dispatched for it. That gives them a free man advantage. With the operator down, they can assault the A side with no remorse whatsoever. And even the utility is pushing the defenders back. They get a kill for free. They get the site for free. Maybe the planter will be killed. Look at that. The shock darts will land at the default box. Meanwhile, the aftershock denies the plant under heaven. So they delay it, but they don't deny it.
Absolutely. They can't really do all that much, right? They've got a lockdown. Maybe that will be their last resort. They can even combine
he
that
can
with
break
an
the
after
lockdown
divide.
with the shock darts.
Yes. This is a very, very usual average bonus. It's a little outside. I mean, it's exactly not at the center of the shock dart. He didn't knew that. But Wimp specially places that lockdown a little away from that lineup positions. That's perfect. And the lockdown gets all of those kills, but Wimp has no idea. Right behind him, there's another player that's going to be Jivix.
Yeah, but that's okay. Jivix is going to have to peek into 2 people as soon as he swings, and he's a bit too late for that as well. At least he does economic damage on the back of it, but that was a very well calculated round, honestly, from both the teams. And it all boiled down to the Sovas and the Killjoy big braining each other. First, we saw, I believe it was Godbexy who was using the shock darts to deny the plant on default, and then Blackhawk used the aftershock to deny plant under heaven.
Stranger.
The 2 most... Oh, yeah. No, Blackhawk...
No, yeah, it was God. Yeah, man.
Blackhawk used the aftershock to deny the plant, but they only managed to delay it. And then Wimp placed the lockdown a little away from Stranger's shock darts, which is also perfect. So, such a brilliant display of skill from both these teams. And it tells you that even without the proper lineup, they still know what the opponents will think like, and they, prepare each other for this one.
A lot of homework done. And that is one of the reasons why we're getting such a stellar game so far. A very slow start to this round. As you can see, a slow approach towards the A side, but no information given. That is one of the reasons why Team Orgless 5 sort of rotated back towards the garage on the C side, maybe because they thought it would be a C head. But this time, a late out drone towards A side will reveal that there is no players. They will start funneling in, but there is no defenders. They will find the site for free, but the retake is definitely possible. And considering the fact there is a rolling thunder in the defensive lineup, this is going to be some interesting round.
Yeah, a 5v5 retake definitely can be a bit difficult, but it's not impossible. And they would much rather do that. The timing though, Blackhawk just walked past him. I mean, there is an alarm bot, so he will be detected in the end, but will that be a bit too late? Because Blackhawk now has no idea the Demon is going to backstab them from B. They are aware about the possibility, but Jivix, he kills God Vexy. Now no recon darts available, and they have no information that the Astra is already on the way behind. They funnel into the site. Will they be able to damage them enough though before the backup finally arrives? It doesn't even need to arrive. Stranger shuts him down all by himself. Oh my lord. They had backup upon insurance policies. Just
Exactly.
if one layer fails, the other one will hold them back. And it kind of seemed like Salt Esports were destined to win that round.
I love the fact that there's strangers still protecting Backstab even though Demon was there, right? Just like you mentioned, an insurance policy for an insurance policy.
Exactly.
Even if Demon misses that player, Blackhawk, he will get taken down. And that was such an important kill that Rolling Thunder could have been very crucial. And on top of that, there was still that alarm bot, but you still station a player dedicated for a Backstab hit. Of course, Demon wasn't really required. Jivix pushing out, the breach getting his flashes. This time it looks like a C hit, a very fast, and of course, flashes come through Hacker in a very, very weird spot. Nobody checks it. It's very weird, but yeah, Hacker does find a kill for himself using a Nebula to find himself in a nice position, but Stranger will punish him.
Oh, all this utility in there.
Flashes
Turns
and
into
smokes.
lava. Yeah, exactly. Because half the time you can't see stuff because of the smokes, and even if you can see something, you can't move because of the gravity belts. Still, the defenders get overwhelmed by the number of utility pieces that are being dumped at them. God Vexy still peaks after tanking the aftershock. That's very brave, and he's been revealed. But both the Sovas are very low on health now, so if Stranger has those shock darts ready, a single one should be enough to take down God Vexy, and then the Hunter's Fury. If one was not enough, he's got the other one too. What's unfortunate is that God Vexy also had his Hunter's Fury, but he couldn't use it in time.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, in this position, always the defender's Hunter's Fury will be more lethal because you know exactly where to point. The attacker, the one in personal position, can be anywhere. So for God Vexy, the region was just too wide. The scope where he had to point the Hunter's Fury at was just way too wide for comfort, and it wouldn't have been a proper reinvestment.
But then consider this. I mean, you have Hacker, who's standing far away, still placing all the gravity wells along the entire site. I kind of feel like if there was a little bit more communication, then God Vexy could have used that Hunter's Fury while someone was being sucked into, Hacker's gravity well, and that would have resulted in an instant kill. At least then you won't die with the regret of not using your ultimate when you had it available. Yeah. But hey, all that stuff will only pop into your head in the hindsight. I don't blame them for not making that move. Ouch! That's gonna hurt, and they will definitely regret that.
Absolutely. Nanoswarm Grenade pushes out Jivix back in the side, but he has done the damage already. You can see the amount of damage that he has dealt. He's also brought down the breach by a little bit. 4-man push, trying to brute force their way. Gunner with a single flash can absolutely be lethal, but Wim gets a frag first. Aftershock comes through, but Wim gets a second one.
That was a bit too awkward. The timing of the utility of that breach, not really the best. He used the flash when they were already beyond that angle, looking towards CT instead of directly at the boxes, so it did nothing to stop them. Orgless 5 literally just run into the site. They don't care about the amount of utility available on the others, but Hacker, this could be a costly mistake. No problem, no problem. Oh no, there's a lot of problems. He's on 22 HP. I thought they'll be able to stop this, but things are starting to slip.
Oh,
God Vexy maintains a grip.
Thankfully. I mean, winning the pistol round is always an important step in making a comeback possible. We had a very elaborate conversation, Crips, about a 9-3 scoreline yesterday.
No, let's not go there.
Exactly, right? But I'm not going there. Today, the first win objective for Team Orgless 5 was to win this pistol round. They have done that. They need to win this round as well and probably prepare themselves for the defensive setup that Salt Esports are going to push up. Now, you see, you've got the weaponry advantage. You can literally execute every single side. Maybe the defenders are going to do something different, but at least you can get an idea where, or rather in which side every single player plays, or a dedicated agent plays. This time, Salt Esports, they've focused all the eggs in one basket, that is Garage.
I hope they don't drop this basket. Orgless 5 are heading towards the A side, which would obviously be the safer bet. Wimp, his position over here does not get revealed by the recon dart. Now that's crucial, because from this position, Wimp can hear all the footsteps. And if he hears more than 2 or 3, then he can make a safe bet that the A side would be clear and they're playing for retake. The information that Wimp will gather now will have massive impact on Orgless 5's performance in this round.
Yeah.
You can even catch them rotating before they start moving, so it is crucial. Either way, even if Wimp doesn't do much over here, he's still done most of the job for his team. They're already inside, more than ready to defend, and the shorties won't be able to accomplish much at this range, so he has himself a highlight reel coming up.
Yeah, dinking 2 players and killing 2 of them. That was perfect. And now a 4v3 retake, practically a 4v2 with little to no guns. This should be easy for Team Orgless 5 to get as well. Once again, we got to see something very interesting. The discipline that we get to see from Orgless 5 is nice hacker with smoking and gravity welling every single region in the side. Players using their flashes, not taking any risks whatsoever. This is discipline incarnate. Hacker finding demon as well. There's just one player standing who will be useless at this point. Shorty will be dropped. 5-9 a scoreline, which is really important from this point on, because now the buffer is only of 4 rounds. All that Team Orgless 5 got to do is to just keep the opposition guessing. If they can mix things up, the buffer in no time will be less than 2 rounds.
Yeah, but they first need to get through this asset test. Salt Esports has the weaponry to stop them in their tracks now. Will they be able to overcome this one? This is a bonus of sorts for the side of Orgless 5, which makes them okay. I mean, they can afford to lose this one in terms of economy, but the score deficit is just a bit too much.
Yeah, I mean, but still, they've got that safety net. It's just 9 rounds. Even if it actually maybe goes up to like 5-10, I feel like they'll be okay, because from that point on, the road will be clear to win every single round. I feel like this round is very crucial, and I want to see what sort of approach there is from Orgless 5. If they start pushing up, they can certainly use their man advantage, but the A side is heavily guarded. We've seen A sides always being guarded by 3 or like at least 2 or 3 players. So this time maybe a B push, something like borrowing a page from Salt Esports playbook might be crucial. They might be able to successfully hit the B side, clear out all those corners, plumb the spike and get back to safety, or they can actually run down the clock, try and pull off multiple fakes. But considering the fact that they've got 2 stand-in players, I feel like the prospect of it is not that high. They would rather bank on the individual gunplay skill rather than communication and utilizing the utility at every single point.
Okay, no, I have to disagree there. I think Salt Esports will rely more on the utility aspect. Here's what I think is going to happen this round. Gunner will use the fort line, and Jivix will peek on the back of it. And they're using Gravity Well as well so that they can't escape this, but Jivix was pushed back. So everything that Salt Esports wanted to do to help Jivix initiate has been nullified. Can he still get the kill though?
Maybe, but the rest of the players are moving towards long, which doesn't really have a lot of Guardians at this point. I guess the movement kind of seems like they will fall back eventually, but let's see.
Nah. I mean, the players of Orgless 5 are pretty adamant about this venture. And Stranger about to peek. He is the danger! Oh. The flash is perfect and he spots out 3, gets a kill for free, and then falls back 2. Can the players of Orgless 5 make it through? He knows that Wimp is trapped. No aftershock to bait him out. But Wimp, he still peeks. Gravity Bell flushes him out. Blackhawk just trying to play around the side, but there's too many people. Nobody can hold on to this site.
Team coming in from... Yeah, the Alron will spot his location. And now that he has been pinged, there's nothing that he can possibly do at this point. He does have 2 stars available. He can use them for Under Heaven. Hacker towards that A-shot region might be the first contact for Demon at this point, but the stars are going to be crucial, Crips.
Yeah, but Oh,
Nice.
he survives the bait and switch peak. Not for longer. But still, I have a good feeling that if Orgless 5 keep on doing the same thing again and again, they might succeed. So far, what they've managed to do is nullify all the early round aggression from Salt Esports because they kind of predict what Gunner is about to do with the breach. That's one good thing that Blackhawk is doing, predicting all the breach utility and avoiding initial damage. And then when the players of Salt Esports have already used up most of their utility, these guys are keen to fight them because then there's not much resistance left. Asite, he spotted out Stranger, but will he be aware about this player in the corner? Yes, he's diligent in his checking, and that gets him a kill.
Absolutely. But Demon has actually pushed up far. He will be spotted pretty soon though with the alarm bot, but the fact that you've got Stranger sort of pushing up towards short is going to be really important. I guess he wouldn't be checked, and now he does. Got Vexy. Got him.
And while all of this is happening, you can see that Demon is trying to push C long. Somehow avoids the alarm bot. Oh no, this could be crucial. Ah, now we know why the alarm bot did not trigger. Wimp was out of range, but that's because he's already in the C site. It all makes sense now. And Demon just realized how massively he got outplayed.
Sheriffs. All of them being spotted. Being stunned as well. Wimp. Trying to be a little cheeky. Stranger completely done and dusted. Gunner finished off as well. Darky.
Oh no.
This is funny. This is really funny. Darky all by himself just trying to survive. Trying to use gun for better purposes, but a 1v3 in this position. Gets the first one, but Wimp will clean him up. A 4k for him and Orgless 5 on the verge of making it even Stevens.
What can I say? There is always some comedy in tragedy. And maybe that's why people will need therapy after seeing this remedy. I love the fact how Wimp unknowingly baited the hell out of Demon, because there was this one point when Demon thought he has the perfect backstab. Alarm bot deactivated. All right, this is my chance to strike. That's what Demon thought. And he would have been able to get 2 kills. He even spotted the spike, fell back in time. He would have been able to survive that. But little did he know that Wimp is already on site, and then he realizes why the alarm bot was not activated, and he's like, light bulb moment. Oh no.
On the back of the outro. Nice work there. The aftershock will do nothing. Once again, a man advantage established, and you can see the Team Orgless 5. They're not falling back. They want to execute this A side. Blackhawk does have the Rolling Thunder available. That can be crucial, but through the smoke, Stranger finds Wimp, and here it comes. The Rolling Thunder will push Blackhawk, just trying to get kills. God Vex, he doesn't really spot out those players, but Blackhawk is there to actually help him.
Hey, I think it's still manageable. They gave up the site, they let them plant, but Salt Esports still have the man advantage. Oh no, not anymore. Darky got picked off, getting a bit too curious over there, and of course that leads to his death. Fourth line set up to help his players swing around the corner. Will they actually swing though? It's all gonna come down to timing. Nah, the aftershock goes to waste. And they don't spot anyone with the swing. Gun barrel of Jivik spotted. The flash is perfect. Hacker doubles up. That's amazing, but can they account for Demon around the corner? Nobody's checking for him. Hacker finally spots him out, and now they are ready. Flash available, and Blackhawk lights out for him. They're actually doing this. They're just one round away.
Absolutely, and the fact that this A push is working out for Orgless 5 every single time is actually very surprising. This time they did have that Rolling Thunder to facilitate the push, but the other rounds, they still station that operator, they still station 3 players in the A side. I'm talking about Salt Esports. They put up Jivix, they put up Stranger, the Gunner as well. In spite of all the flashes, the shock darts, and the recon darts that come their way, Team Orgless 5, they find a way to open up the site for themselves. I think there's an interesting switch up between C and A multiple times, but the fact that the defaults have worked up for Orgless 5 is pretty interesting.
And they're doing it all around the breaches. Both the breaches are trying to outbrain each other, and they only use the utility to disruptively stop the pushes when someone tries to play aggressively. It also kind of helps out Salt Esports that... I'm sorry, it helps out Orgless 5 that even after hitting A so many times, Salt Esports have not been able to adjust to this. I mean, out of the 5 rounds that they are able to win, 4 of them have been when they assaulted A. There was only 1 round where they went C, but that was also after they faked A. So how much will they keep on relying on this one bomb site? Of course, the moment I say that they're playing around A a bit too much, Salt Esports, they left only the Killjoy in this region.
Interesting
They
placement of
switch up.
stars.
Yeah, I mean, the placement of stars from Hacker kind of indicates that Orgless 5 want to go for a C hit, but I think the even Killjoy utility is interesting enough because there has been a change. Earlier, it was Gunner and Jivix who were playing towards the A side. Now, it's only Darky holding by himself. The breach has gone towards mid-region instead, and the fog line is perfect. The switch-up works. They got the man advantage.
Yep, absolutely. Now, what can Team Orgless 5 do? They're moving towards the A side. They've got the better weaponry to work with as well, but Stranger on the backstab can be crucial. No Keisha utility deployed yet, and there's a poor Sova who's droning with no cover whatsoever. Oh no, there's an Astra in Yoga mode as well. This is 2 free kills for Stranger, and he can actually pick up a weapon as well. Also got his ultimate available. Darky finds another one as he gets one interesting kill, and there's only the CT left.
And SCT actually hit him with the blades, but probably did like 100 damage only. Oh no, that's just so unfortunate. He connected, right? The blades connected. I saw the other guy bleed.
Exactly. I mean, it was probably 100 damage. CT was surviving with, I don't know how much HP, but he definitely wasn't much. But the fact that Stranger got those 3 kills, nobody guarding him, that was the key point, I feel.
And the funny part is there is a turret to stop a push like that. But somehow, conveniently in that moment, Stranger finds that turret to be deactivated. And voila, that's where the round is spoiled.
Exactly. Well, at least Team Salt Esports find their 10th round on the back of some nice work. Demon through the smoke finds Blackhawk as well. So nice work. Using the Nebula to his advantage, but Hacker wouldn't really find him. So the quest for information towards the C side, of course, are very unsuccessful. Now they've got an operator station at A as well. So where do they go now? Probably mid or B? They are definitely heading towards Garage, but you can see like there's presence there as well. You've got Gunner in that position who's got a Rolling Thunder available. 1 Rolling Thunder and all these players will be up in the air, flying high in the sky. Not using Jet's abilities, but struggling.
They figured out where Gunner is. They're using all the utility to flush out all the common positions. But the Hunter's Fury has been committed by the defenders just to make sure that the plant can't go through. And in fact, the CT even goes down on the back of it. Darky swings from the Nebula, hoping to capitalize on the distraction. But God Vexy is wiser. He prevents that from happening. Still a 2 versus 2. And the only thing that is going in the favor of Salt Esports is that they are pushing even before the lockdown gets popped. That was a brave push indeed, but it works for them.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the positioning, right? Orgless 5, they were completely pinned down in this region. The timing for Salt Esports was so perfect as well. Livix coming in from CT and Stranger coming in from Garage in tandem with each other. And all that Orgless 5 could do was just hold that angle, but not for long. Of course, with Operator and Phantom swinging left and right, the lockdown, their brainchild, not really giving them the best results. Just not really working for the side of Orgless 5 so far. They had a very good run of 5 rounds, but it has been halted once again. They wouldn't really have a lot of bank to fall back upon if they don't win this round, so this round is going to be crucial. Of course, Salt Esports can also potentially get to map point.
Oh my god, Jivix a bit too keen to get to map point, and that's what happens when you get greedy.
But dude, CT's recovery was so good there. Gunner, nice flash, nice kill over there as well. But how far can he help the team right now? Used up a second flash as well. Spots Blackhawk, but that's not enough.
No, he did not. He flashed himself. He didn't spot anyone. Now he spots somebody, but he's kind of trapped. He's burning. He can't even swing. They're ready for him. Bra moment, bro. I'd like to report a bra moment right there.
Trust me, dying to a nanoswarm is probably the most painful way to death.
I know. Especially after you flashed yourself.
Exactly. Now you've got a Natural Divide, which is available in the hands of Demon, but I don't think he's going to use it. I mean, this is way too close for comfort. 1v4 for him. The stakes are quite high. Does get the first frag though. Maybe if he gets the second one, there is a possibility.
If he uses the Cosmic Divide, he can prevent himself from getting shot by the Astra and the Breach. And then the only person who can save this round is God Vexy. But does he commit the Cosmic Divide? A smoke rather. Okay, that's also a safe thing. There is plenty of utility over there near the spike. I mean, if the Aftershock isn't enough, there's a star placed for the Gravity Well, the Nanoswarm as well. Everything is placed. Of course, Nanoswarm can't be activated, but you don't need that.
Yeah, the sheer presence of that pink dot is enough to terrify you, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, even if you can't activate it, oh my god, there's another swarm.
Yeah.
It can pop off any moment. But thankfully, Team Orgless 5, they actually recover. And once again, they start maybe the quest for getting more rounds for themselves. This round was really important and they recovered well. But can they bank on it? They've got 3 ultimates. They've got 3 good ultimates. A Blade Storm, maybe useful on the hands of the CJ. He has been really crispy so far. You've got a Rolling Thunder and you've got a Hunter's Fury. Right at the get-go, we see some aggression towards Garage and they really want to execute the site. Of course, there's an alarm bot there, so they will understand what's happening. Demon trying to disguise his presence with a Nebula of his own, and there is reinforcements coming in, but what can they do on the back of this Rolling Thunder? Nothing much.
What's even worse is that the 2 players who died over here were the Astra and the Killjoy. They both had their ultimates, and you know that lockdown Cosmic Divide combination is perfect for retaking. So they delete the dangerous people first, and that is all. But Jivix also can be pretty dangerous. He knows that there's going to be at least 1 player towards long because God Vexy has the Hunter's Fury. That's exactly where he'll be. But where's the Killjoy? There she is! And Wimp swings out to tell him the answer.
Absolutely, 10 to 11, and this thing is getting very, very close. Of course, a lot of ultimates invested. I mean, the breaches, Cribs, for the past few days, the days we've casted together, I've seen a lot of breach influence in the game. Every single map that they've played, I feel like the breach has been an influential figure. The flashes, the aftershocks, the fault line, and the rolling thunder. A kit which can destabilize any sort of push coming through and any sort of defense that there is. I feel like breach is gonna be the new versatile initiator for every single purpose there is.
Okay. Sky will be very disappointed to hear that. Javix, though, a bit disappointed because he can't go in and push. He can hear the people over there, so he's like, nah, I won't backstab just yet. Would much rather reinforce my teammates towards the A site. They don't have much to lose anyway, so they can go for the gamble stacks. And they don't need to worry about any rolling thunder this time around. So they will be very happy to hold on to this region by just the sheer willpower of their guns. It's not going to be enough though. Slowly and systematically, Orgless 5 are going into the site.
Darky, Demon, they find 3 frags on the back of it, but Hacker actually comes back and retrieves every single one of them. This was a nice round, Chris, because I saw Darky being sucked into the gravity well, but he still recovers, hits 2 crispy headshots. Demon comes back with 1 more of his own, but then there's Hacker, and he was like, all right, guys, let's step up and let's finish off the job. 11 and 11, and Team Orgless 5 have finally evened things up. At this point, you never really know who's going to win because both the teams have looked comfortable so far. Both the teams have sort of looked like they're going to win. It's still hard to decipher a clear winner at this point, considering the fact that we still haven't established economic advantage. Both the teams are sort of having proper money to buy. But Orgless 5, they've got current momentum. They've won last 3 rounds, and I feel like they are looking forward to more. The only good thing that I've liked about Orgless 5 is that even they are mixing up the sites way too much. We kind of thought that Orgless 5 would play on the back of some gunplay, some sheer firepower, but the way the Breach has been able to, especially Blackhawk, right? You talked about how his Astra play was influential, but now his Breach probably even better.
Yeah, and with this, I think Blackhawk is one of the best players in India, period. Forget about one of the best Astra players or best Breach players. Like, overall, this guy has a lot of influence in the success of his team. And the loss of side doesn't seem to be bothering them too much. SCT has been hitting his shots, and he's doing it really well, stepping up whenever the situation requires him to. And even Wimp is doubling up as a Killjoy really well. We've seen him on the SOA for so long. It almost makes me forget that this guy used to be the rock-solid anchor of the team as a Sentinel. So yeah, lineup changes or not, Orgless 5 still are a solid force to be reckoned with. But now that both these teams are in a little bit of a clutch situation, what happens? Because you're on the verge of either map point or overtime, and things could go either way.
Yeah.
At least the economic situation on the attacking side looks a bit better than the defender side. I mean, there's 3 players with 3,000 credits, so
Yeah.
they have enough money to buy in the next round no matter what happens in this one. Can't really say the same for Salt Esports though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, I'm not sure if you have watched bullfights or not, Chris, but when two bulls of equal strength lock horns and they're stuck in a duel, it's not really the difference in strength that wins them the game. It's sort of one simple slip up. And
Yeah.
slip up in Valorant basically means unforced errors.
Yeah.
The one team who commits that, basically game over for them.
Speaking of errors, I have a feeling that Orgless 5 are not doing anything to force out errors from Salt Esports. Every time they're able to get over the A side, it's probably because of the sheer brute force. And Salt Esports also recognize that strength. They respect it, so they, let them have the side and they play for retakes instead. On the other hand, we did see a few unforced errors from the side of Salt Esports, especially towards the C side of the region. Whenever Salt Esports are trying to defend C, they either walk into the gravity wells or they get flashed by Blackhawk. So that kind of stuff is not something that they can avoid. At least on the A side, they have a little more say in what happens. And at least they're allowed to fall back and, retain the numbers advantage even if they lose the side so they can play for retake. That doesn't happen whenever Orgless 5 are attacking C. Luckily for them, that's not where the attack is coming this time. In fact, it's not coming anywhere. They're all just huddled outside of A looking for a pick. Will they find it?
Act of desperation from Jivix. He can always dash back to safety, but it could have been something which could draw out unforced errors. You were talking about how Team Orgless 5 weren't doing much. I feel like this sort of little hole that they did maybe was to tempt these players from Salt Esports to do something extra. Maybe become a little over ambitious, but so far, nothing on that sort. Very patient.
Oh, no,
Nice
he's
grab.
dead.
You get an aftershock combination.
How?
And he still survives. Not for
That
long.
is very surprising, not gonna lie. I thought Stranger would die because so much was thrown at him. Aftershock, Gravity Well, Nanoswarm, everything. And now God Vexy will do his best to deny the lockdown, while their lockdown continues to tick.
Yeah, Demon once again all by himself will be completely taken off. And Blackhawk survives that occasion. Once again, the entirety of Orgless 5. I love the fact that they hold back is just long enough that there is nobody who checks long anymore. Jivix could easily, pardon me for that, Isite could easily sneak in right behind, I believe it was Gunner, take him down with a Blade Storm. I remember Isite getting another kill as well. He was the one who actually opened things up with 2 frags. Stranger was the one who actually got the trade. But you look at this, right? They hold the position so long. They try and maybe focus on sewers a lot, which kind of makes or forces Salt Esports give up the long territory. And as soon as that happens, there's somebody who sneaks in right behind them.
They have switched things up. Darky's playing A again. Last time he tried to play on the A side, they never attacked it. They went with C instead, and Darky was like, ha, frustrated killjoy noises because his utility went to waste. This time also, I think they're doing a decent enough job of boiling out the utility from the defensive side. They've used up 1 Nanoswarm each, both the killjoys, but of course, oh my lord, forget whatever I said. Jivix, if he keeps on hitting shots like these, he will definitely be able to keep them at bay. But now he goes for the spray. He ends up finding nothing. Stranger in the middle of this fray will only be able to get 1. Rolling Thunder from Gunner doesn't get him anything. Oh my god, this does seem to be the start of the end. Will this be the perfect comeback that Orgless 5 have ever pulled off? From 9-3 to 13-11. Demon has to pull this round back. Otherwise, this will be the end.
Cosmic Divide once again. Cosmic Divide, but now the Cosmic Divide peeks out, gets got Vexy. I love the fact that the two Cosmic Divide sort of isolated every single fight into a 1v1, but it doesn't really help him so far. I love the fact that Demon tried, but there's just no way he can actually use that.
Oh, I have no words to describe how amazing this comeback was. And it's not like the players of Orgless 5 were doing something completely out of the ordinary. They attacked the A side in a similar fashion 7 times, and the remaining times they went towards the C side. Without too many switch ups, with only two concrete strategies, Salt Esports still weren't able to figure out the solution to their problems. And if they're able to pull off a massive comeback like this on the back of just two concrete strats, one must wonder now, how good are these strats that Salt Esports cannot even touch them?
I mean, you just have to figure out how good Blackhawk and Izite were, because the Breach and the Jet combination was just working for Orgless 5. Let's have a look at how they were working in the highlights and figure out exactly which strategies enabled Orgless 5 to win the game. So far in the first half, it was all about Salt Esports. The defense was tight, to be honest, Scripps. I didn't really see, the first half was tight. I didn't really see a lot of difference. The fact that even they used the Breach utility and the Jet push as well, there were certain differences. I saw a lot of versatility from Salt Esports and their pushes. Like, they tried a lot of different things, much unlike to what Orgless 5 did. But the fact that Stranger, the fact like Gunner and all these guys were always popping off was a testament to the fact that Salt Esports won the first half.
Yeah, and they were on paper the better team over here because they had so much more variation in their attacks. The only time their attacks did not work where disruptive plays like these came in from Wimp or from Blackhawk. But even then, after displaying so many variations of their attacking side, Salty Sports got a phenomenal lead, and that should have been enough. But August 5 on the attacking side, what did they do? They had two concrete strats only. Unlike Salty Sports, who were throwing everything and the kitchen sink at them, August 5 did the polar opposite of that and still got plenty of success.
Absolutely. With that being said, though, I kind of felt like the first half, even though it was dicey, we had a 9-3, and there was a blink of hope. Not really stating why there was a blink of hope, but maybe you just understand. August 5 in their attacking half were very clear. All that they're going to do was to use the breach to open up any sort of defense there is. I mean, look at this. Salt Esports, they always dedicate 3 players in the A side, but even then, the breach and his flashes are somewhere capable of opening up the site. I mean, if it's not for the flashes or the fault line, then somewhere down the line, you've got the rolling thunder, and that completely opens up the round. And the way the jet and the breach combination has been able to play, this sort of reminds us of very old meta when Breach and Chet were like partners in crime. Once again, we're sort of bringing that back. So that's sort of really happy change for me, because I always adore the Breach and his kid.
The breach kit is definitely viable. I would also like to point out that Gunner's utility usage was so helpful for Jivix because those fault lines were almost always connecting. Now, Blackhawk wasn't able to connect so many fault lines, but he never relied on his fault lines now, did he? He was
Yeah.
mostly just using the flashes to help his team get into positions and pick up fights. Whereas on the other hand, Gunner's utility was being used to hold the opponent's back, buy some time, and stuff like that. So he's using it as a delaying mechanism, whereas Blackhawk uses his utility as a fighting mechanism. Two very different approaches, and now we know which one works better.
This was a nice crisscross with Astral Device, but the only problem for Demon was that he had no information where the players were
Yeah.
stationed. I mean, even though it did isolate every single fight, but I mean, what can you potentially do without information? Nothing much, right? And that was one of the reasons why Orgless 5, I mean, even though they did get the first victory, I feel like this was Salt Esports map pick. And now that creates problems for them, because now they need to go into Icebox, which is sort of picked up by the other team, and win there to even have a chance in this best of 3 series. Salt Esports weren't really a bad team, to be honest, Crips. It was just Orgless 5 adapted to them better.
Orgless 5 did adapt well enough, but I think Salt Esports were the ones who really failed to adapt over here. I mean, consider this:
Yeah,
the number of
absolutely.
stats Salt Esports brought to the table versus Orgless 5 clearly tells us that Salt Esports is the more versatile team. But does versatility equal adaptability? Not really.
I mean, when a team picks a map, on paper, you kind of expect them to be very good on attack because their executes should be sort of well planned before, prior to the game before actually starts. But the fact that we got to see no real resistance from the defensive round sort of surprises me very much, because the same strategies used over and over again, the same breach flashes, the same rolling thunders, and there's nothing that they did to actually change up. There was no change up of strategy. Salt Esports, I don't really remember if I saw one 5v5 retake coming in from them. Every single time Oculus 5 was able to get themselves into the A side, there were casualties falling in from Salt Esports, and that resulted them in weakened forces. And when you have a weakened force, when you have basically just 2 or 3 players surviving on the back of some like what 50 HP with no real utility, what can you potentially do in a retake? Nothing much.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Wimp, the MVP for his team, whereas Stranger, he's the MVP for his. I have to say, this was a great debut for Asite. We didn't know what this guy can do, but now we found out he can hit some really nutty shots and he can go toe to toe with Jivix. Let's see if these guys can do the same thing in Icebox or not.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got Wimp as your MVP, kind of shows us what Orgless 5 have been capable of and how good teamwork has actually given them the first map of the series. But ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna come back with Icebox. We had a blast at Haven, and I'm pretty sure on the icy turfs of Icebox there is gonna be even more. You're watching LG Ultragear presents TC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial, and our apparel partner is 656. We'll come back after a very short break.
the legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
Welcome back to Comeback Central. Oops, I mean LG Ultragear presents TEC Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial and 656. Damn, we saw some ridiculously good stuff today. From leading 9-3 to losing 11-13, Salt Esports have lost their own map pick. And
Yeah,
Orgless 5 are in the lead, even though they have two new players in the mix. One would
absolutely.
not have imagined this to be the scenario today.
Dude, I mean, to be honest, Oculus 5 played well, but from Salt Esports, I feel like the expectation was much higher. And now that they've lost their own map pick, I feel like the stakes are even higher on the map of Icebox, because now Oculus 5 have a chance of closing it out, shutting down all, or rather every single doubter that there is. There have been a lot of questions regarding their lineup changes. There have been a lot of questions how the players who are unproven are going to function in the lineup. But now they've answered all those questions, and they're going to move to Icebox with the quest of finishing this best of three series 2-0. Do you think, Crips, this is going to happen? Are you a believer?
Oh, yes, certainly. I am a believer. I love seeing comebacks. And by that measure, I would also love to see a comeback from the side of Salt Esports as well. Initially, I thought that this would be a three mapper series, but now it seems like August 5 are very keen to shut this down in Icebox itself. This is their own map pick, and they're starting on the defensive side. So we do not know what to expect from this
Yeah.
team. Back when they were Team EXO, we used to see a lot of mid fights, but will we get to see that now? We'll have to wait and find out.
I mean, interesting way you pointed out back when they were EXO. When they were EXO, they had a very important character in the team known as Excalibur, who used to push out every now and then to get information. And more often than not, he was the one to establish man advantage as well. I mean, he would double satchel his way towards mid or probably even enemy spawn and get some judge frags for the team to work with. I don't think that's going to happen right now, because as much as I've observed a CT, he's more like a calm and collected fragger, just waits for his opportunity before he can pounce upon the
Mm-hmm.
opposition. But now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to find what agents these guys are going to play. I think Icebox should be as stable as it always is. The agent should be predetermined. There shouldn't really be any changes on that. But maybe, I just maybe, we can see something different.
Yeah, I want to see who plays the Viper. Is it Blackhawk or is it Hacker? Okay, Blackhawk picks it up. Going back to the controller role now. I mean, of course, Breach is not as viable in this map. So, no fault line action for them. Although I must say that Gunner's fault lines were amazing in the last game. I want to see how he uses the Viper utility to do the same thing which he was doing, which obviously, if his style of using utility is to hold and delay, then the Viper can be a lot more viable than the Breach. So he might be feeling more comfortable this game.
Absolutely. And also, it's a very interesting to note that they're the ones who are starting on attack. So his job wouldn't be to hold. For now, he needs to create space for the team. And once again, he can kind of do the same thing that he did with the breach, to use his flashes and the fault lines to cut the side in two halves, maybe kind of shatter the defense and enable the rest of the players to move in. I'm pretty sure that Jivix needs to kind of tighten up his boots a little bit right now, because he doesn't get the flash to work up on the back of it. He needs to get, I mean, he definitely will get some information on those from those recon darts, but he needs to frag on his own self, help the team enter the site and help them plant, with him being the flag bearer for the team. For him, that's a lot of responsibility, but knowing him, I feel like he can do the job.
Well, of course he can do the job, but the problem over here is not whether or not you can finish your job or do what you're asked to do. The main thing over here is, can you initiate all by yourself without your team with you? Of course, the Sovas can try to push their teams inside using the utility, clearing the way, and everything. But when you don't have the amount of backup that you need, can you do that or not? That is an important question, I will think, because we've seen so many times that the Sovas and the Killjoys are engaged in a war of wits. You remember that one round where both of them were trying to outplay each other and they were just avoiding
Yeah.
each other's utility? If that stuff can happen in Haven, then we will see a lot more of it in Icebox, because there's so many angles that the Sovas can use. In fact, in this map, we've seen several times that the main thing that determines the result of a round is what happens when you're actually trying to plant the spike. And we've seen that the Sovas always use their shock darts, Vipers always use their snake bites to deny the plant or to refuse, depending on what side you're playing.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to those few crucial seconds. Like when you tap the spike, one of your players is vulnerable. So how well do you protect that player? How well do you enable him to plant or defuse, depending on wherever you're on? How do you play around him? And in that one crucial moment, what utility do you use to get that edge? You won't have any flashers, so you can't just swing out wide and kill. You have to make sure that you force out errors by either denying area or denying the plant at the right time.
Yep. Absolutely, but it seems like we have a slight tech issue. Team isn't here. I can't see his ping. So that is going to cause a little bit of a delay, but you can already see the Team Salt, they're pretty excited about this. I feel like they being on the attack is something which they would like to favor, because even if they get the first half, I mean, even if they can make it to like 6-6, they have a potential chance of maybe stopping Orgless 5 from running away with this game. If, of course, Demon gets his ping back.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I was about to say. They'll run away with it if they can get their players back. I have to note. I have to mention one thing though. I've never seen Hacker play the Sage before. I think this will be a more straightforward character for him,
Yeah.
but also the
No,
way he uses his walls will be important. I mean,
exactly right. On the map of Icebox, the Sage, especially on your attacking side, is pretty crucial. Also on the defensive side, it's not just
Yeah.
the staple mid wall anymore. Right now, you can wall up the A side to try and deny the plant for the attackers. You can also use the wall in the B side maybe to actually go for diffuse as well. So there's a lot of job that he needs to do, but
Yeah.
most of it actually revolves around the barrier orb.
Yeah, most of it revolves around the barrier orb, and you can't just, wall off tube and hope that they don't hit that area. That is so 2021. In 2022, the walls are being used a lot more proactively, either to deny the plant or to defuse it. And sometimes the sages will just not use their walls at all throughout the entire round, and they'll save it for the post plant simply so that they can wall in their enemies' faces and start the defuse. So I think that's probably one thing that he will also pull off if things don't go his way in the first few seconds of the round.
Yeah. I'm still checking Gunner's possibility, Demon's possibility of coming back into this game. It seems like he's reconnected, but with 600 ping, it's a little hard to play actually. Yeah, now it has actually come down to 150.
And it happens every day, right? Every day, someone or the other has internet issues without fail. And you know what the funny part is? Just this morning, I was watching another tournament, and even there, they're having the same problem. So it's not just Gauntlet; it's South Asia in general. I mean, forget about esports supremacy. We need to get stable infrastructure first, and it's so frustrating that it happens every time.
Should get to internet connections, I guess. That can be an answer.
No, I mean, just okay. Non-esports related context. Just today, my friend asked me which ISP he should get because his current ISP is giving him problems. I recommended him the one that I use, but I told him that it's not reliable. I have 2 internet connections and I have to spend extra $5,000 every month, which obviously is money being burned because I don't use my second internet connection. It's just there as backup. And I just hope that I don't have to use it. Yeah, 5,000 every month.
That's total
very
for
expensive.
both. That's total.
That's total for both. What, you thought I pay that much for a single internet connection? No, sir, that's a bit too much.
That's overkill. I mean, mine is cheaper. I have 2 internet connections as well, ladies and gentlemen, but mine only cost me 1,000 total.
Wait, total for both of them?
Totally. Yeah.
Bro.
Jugaad, bro. I'm from Bengal, right? We know financial stuff.
See, even I'm a Sindhi, and according to stereotype, we are good with money. But I mean, if I have to pay extra for that one, then I don't know. And either way, we'll discuss the internet connections later on. Luckily, this guy is back, so we can get the match underway. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to go live with map number 2. Sorry for making you wait so much and for dumping you with all the unnecessary information in the world about our personal lives and our choices. But the choices that these guys make will be pretty important this time around as they are starting to funnel themselves through the big corridors. They don't care much about the Viper utility, and rightly so, because Blackhawk will be dealt with instantly. Now the B-side belongs to them. They can probably be delayed by the Nanoswarm grenade, but other than that, not much. The barrier orb isn't broken either, so the plant will go through safely.
Yeah. The delay was long enough for reinforcement to come in, but the reinforcement doesn't act right off the get-go. They kind of wait for a little bit, use the utility a little bit as well. You can see the shock darts flying in as well. Wim trying to take early contact, does get a little damage on Demon. Shock darts come through in return as well. One dink, CT gets Jivix, but Gunner takes him down.
Oh, he doesn't have a barrier off, which means he's gonna have to fight this one in order to win it. But they're actually winning these fights, and now the 2 remaining attackers are very low on HP. Wimp has been healed already, so he can get the advantage he needs. Lineups already used. Gunner's position has been revealed, but will he be able to stay alive long enough to bait Wimp into a fight with him? Yes, he can, and he gets it. Wimp survives on 1 HP. He wins the fight, but at what cost?
The round is gone, ladies and gentlemen, and Gunner just held back as long as possible, once again just being the clutch minister for the team. It was really important for him to deploy every single one of his utility over there, the Poison Cloud, the Snake Bite, and he kind of timed it to perfection, delayed the Spike Diffuse just long enough. But I also feel like it's not just him. The rest of the team inside the site also did their job to try and hold back as much as possible. It was a really good round fought by Salt Esports, but I feel like Team Orgless 5 are sort of comfortable with this. You have to remember that Blackhawk was really taken down quite early in that fight. Had he fought for long, I feel like Orgless 5, rather Salt Esports, would have had a lot of problems trying to enter the site, and that is something which I'm looking forward in this round.
I'm not looking forward to this position from Blackhawk. He has a bit too much on his plate. Backup from his fellow Jet definitely will make things a little easier, but do they push? Usually these guys are curious enough to deny the plant and push through that utility, but this time it nets them only 2 kills. Still, the ball is in the court of Team Orgless 5. They have to make their moves now. Darky's anti-backstab would have been a lot more successful if he actually had someone to stop, but Hacker isn't even making his way through. He's still anticipating someone towards Tube, and while that's happening, time is ticking.
And God Vexy will fall. Hacker, True Oranges, has a lot of work right now, and with a classic, I don't think he can do much. The best he's looking forward to is probably just 1 kill.
Maybe just steal that Spectre and come back. Even that's going to be pretty useless because you will have enough money to purchase better guns next round.
Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna buy Vandals and Phantoms hopefully in the next round as well. The Spectre, not really retreat. He did kind of pick it up, but he probably needed an Omen ultimate to get away from that situation. But let's face it, that's not happening for a Sage.
Yeah, I mean, he deliberately gave up his life, died to the spike so that he at least doesn't get penalized with the save bonus, so he can
Yeah.
actually afford some weapons. And this is just another bonus round for Salt Esports. Doesn't matter if they lose this one, but they would definitely like to maintain their momentum. And you can see that when they realize they don't have much to lose, they start doing stuff that they haven't done before. This is the first time they're splitting up, and maybe the split will not work as intended. Early aggression not panning out in the favor of Orgless 5 as Ascent has been neutralized. Back to square one, and we know that whenever we have a 4 versus 4 situation, the attackers have the advantage. They can always group up and hit a side with all their strength, but the defenders, they will be forced to fan their players all across the map in hopes of covering every entrance.
Exactly, and that is exactly what we see right now. Wim all by himself in the A side, which is being hit by 3 players. Is he enough to hold them back? Considering the weaponry choice that he has, I think he should be enough. His Vandal is also glowing, which means he's a top fragger. So this man is in form. He's hitting his shots. But right now, it's a little too much on his play so far.
Oh,
Missed the
no.
first shot and Darky capitalizes. Takes him down the side. Has been compromised. 3 players rotating back from the B side. But the time is not really in their favor.
Man, he got Ferrari peaked. Darky ran out so wide before he started shooting. And even if Darky died, his teammates were there for the double peak. Now they're looking for an opportunity. They're using the shot darts towards 410 to clear out the closer angles, but they don't know that Demon is directly under here. They will spawn out Darky first, and Demon will then have to use Darky as bait. Does he succeed? No, he doesn't. Hacker deals with them. But Gunner is coming in from screens. He kills Hacker, and that puts so much pressure on the fella Soa because now Vexy is forced to disengage from his position and go the longer way around, thereby wasting more time. And Gunner, he doesn't even let him walk away with the gun. Easy denial.
Bonus round in the pocket. Team Salt Esports would be very happy with this start. And considering they've got the first 3 rounds, it should be an automatic 4th as well. Because right now, Team Salt Esports, or rather Team Orgless 5, they're going to be broke. They have absolutely no money whatsoever. Need to buy sheriffs, need to buy marshals, whatever they can to possibly get themselves the 5th round next up. But so far, so forth, you can see that Team Salt Esports, they're having it easy. This one fake was just enough to break down the defense. Most of the time, or rather every single time we've seen Salt Esports attack, they try to hit the B side. The only time they kind of fall back was towards the A side and they find so much success.
Yeah. And that too after they made their presence known at B. So that was a bit of a fake coming in. B is involved in their plans nonetheless, whether they actually decide to go over there or not. But we haven't seen them use mid yet. I don't think they will, at least for the next 3 rounds. They'll probably pull out the mid plus B strats or the mid plus A strats later on. Gunner used mid this time to go for the flank towards screens, but then that was also so late. And he did that after he realized that his teammates will be more than capable of holding the site on their own. So he has the time and luxury to go all the way around, outside of A spawn, through attacker spawn, and then through mid. And he did that later on. Otherwise, I don't think he would have gone for that flank if his teammates were actually struggling to hold on to the site.
Speaking of holding on, Team Salt Esports, they're sort of struggling to hold on to their ping right now, which is climbing high, spiking up way too much. It's not just them actually, Chris, because even myself, I'm getting almost 50% packet loss on my game itself.
Ouch. Can we have F in the chat for our fallen brothers? Next thing you know, the F doesn't get delivered because you are also having internet issues. Haha. Inappropriate joke incoming, but I hope the ISP start giving an F about our connections and our games.
Considering how popular Valorant is, I feel like it should be easy for them to optimize the IPs and the routings according to the server that's located in Mumbai.
Yeah, at least make your routing to Mumbai servers stable enough. I can understand if you don't understand what routing is, if you can't fix it for Singapore, but come on, at least do it for Mumbai. And like 70% of the internet users in the country are in Mumbai.
Facts, factors.
Yeah, man, I do my stats well. I do my research well as well. Have Orgless 5 done their research? I don't think so. They're still holding on to the same defaults. I thought maybe in an eco round when they have nothing to lose, they would probably try something wacky. I really hope they do. Even a stack would be nice. Or maybe like a mid push. I would love to see a random mid push. It probably is not going to give them the round. They'll most likely lose, but they will definitely surprise Salt Esports. And I want to see the expression on their faces.
Absolutely, but we don't get to see that often, right? I mean, this Orgless 5 is more into stable, constant gameplay. We don't get to see them doing fancy pushes or flashy plays. Even a CT who is like the solo duelist is more like very calm and collected about his way of getting frags.
Yeah.
Had this been Team EXO, this would have been a completely different situation.
Yeah, I know, and these guys are all so calm and collected, as opposed to Psy and Excali, who were the explosive duo. And they would do the stuff that these guys don't. Not saying that that's a bad thing, but there's a certain amount of risk that teams have to get comfortable with, and maybe these guys don't have that amount of risk appetite, which is also fine. I mean, playing conservatively will probably get them a couple of kills. 3 defenders stacked on the A side, and they're more than capable of defending. Trades come through for Demon, but so will the plant. And that barrier orb helps them nicely fall back as well. So they can now position themselves on top of pipes, on top of the belt as well. Nothing can stop them from falling back, but will they even want to fall back? Jivik still keen on fighting towards 410, keeping the front lines as far ahead as possible.
Absolutely. Gunner using every single one of his abilities. So far, so forth, Team Orgless 5 haven't been able to breach this defense. The post plant, I mean. Of course, attempts are being made. Hacker still trying to make use of his marshal that he has, but the safe round hasn't really paid them off a lot of dividends. 4th round, very, very comfortably for Team Salt Esports, and they can now breathe easy because this has been a very good start for them in this game so far.
Oh yeah, 4-0. They're winning out all the important rounds as well. If they win this one, then they will have successfully broken Team Orgless 5's economy. I mean, last round was a little bit of an eco, so it stands to reason that these guys will win it without any problem. But now ACT has an op. Wimp and everyone else have Phantoms and Vandals. If they break this round, they will be forcing the players of Orgless 5 to survive on nothing but max loss bonus. And that's a trap you don't want to fall inside.
Oh my God. Nice shot from CT, and now Stranger. Will he peek though? Of course, the Aldrone will kind of push him back a little bit. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, they're towards A side, and Spike isn't traveling inside. So this might be a potential fake.
And the fake actually has whatever problems they need. I mean, the revival comes through, so they know for a fact that there's more than 2 players present over here. But at the same time, Darky has revealed his position towards the A side and even got a pick. So at this point, the defenders know that more numbers are present towards the B side, but at the same time, they cannot completely rotate. And that's exactly why you can see God Vexy is pushing out the A side. He doesn't spot anyone here, so that's all the information that the defenders need. Rotations have already arrived. Now, how do they deal with this? Oh, they can deal with it by baiting SET into peeking. Walks into 3 people at the same time. Darky also trying to make this flank work, but he realizes there's a turret, so he probably will not venture further ahead. Most likely will come in later on towards Halls after they get the kill on Wimp.
Yeah. 24 seconds, it's actually very interesting because if Wimp uses his lockdown right now, it can be very, very useful. I don't think they have enough time to actually fall back, go back to the A side. Kills come through as well. Stranger takes down Blackhawk. Wimp still in position. Fake plant right now. Wimp, his position has been revealed, but still holding on.
But Wimp has called his turret back, and this means that Darky can start sneaking through. This will be a massive play, but Godvex, even the bigger plays. Do they know about him? They will never expect him to be on top. They think he's towards yellow, and they're not checking up there. Now Darky reveals his true colors, pulls off a killjoy, Diff, and the clutch. Oh my lord. They fall back down into the economic trenches, and all the efforts of Team Orgless 5 have gone to waste.
A battle of backstabs. Godvexy coming up with 2 important kills. Just decimating every single one of those attackers in the side, but who knew the Darky would come from behind and completely diminish the side of Orgless 5. Like, that was a really bold move from Darky to try and go for a backstab over there. I mean, had he mistimed it a little bit, it could have been very costly for the team, but the fact that he succeeded over there, courtesy to the turret pulling away, yeah, that was really, really well orchestrated. Blackhawk trying to be a little aggressive, might get a kill here.
God.
He actually gets 2, gets away with it, but Jivix finally puts him out of his miseries there. Did his job over there though. 4v2 right now, and that's more than enough. Hacker also finds Darky, which basically means Wimp is well set up for this kill as well.
And he found the spike too, so all the information that the defenders need is available to them. But the kills, not so much. With them splitting up towards mid, they can continue moving towards the A side from screens. And the worst part is there's nobody checking this area. I think Gunnar can easily get a couple of kills if Vexy's not aware, and he wasn't. There you go. Numbers neutralized. Hacker in a very cheeky position will most likely go unchecked, and if this is possible, then he will spot the spike, gets a better gun, and now he needs to hold on. The pressure is on Gunnar, and even more so now that Blackhawk has been revived. He's ready to protect him.
Absolutely, the guardian angel for the side. Of course, a stand-in player, but playing as if he is their flag bearer for the team. First round for Team Orgless 5, and the first round probably of many for them. They've got 3 ultimates, but 4 on the other camp. They've got a Lockdown, a Hunter's Fury, a Viper's Spit, and a Blade Storm. Now, 3 ultimates are in common. Both the teams have it. So I'm pretty sure that a lot of these ultimates will be utilized to cancel each other out. Maybe for a Viper's Spit, a Lockdown for a Hunter's Fury, and a Lockdown for a Hunter's Fury from either ends. But we need to understand, how do they use it? Do they use the ultimates to bait the others' ultimates out, or do they use the ultimates to make their way in? So far, once again, we see a split. 1 player in mid, but of course there is an alarm bot there. Thankfully this time, I guess he wouldn't pull it back. Gunnar, his position has been revealed, but the 3 players are still trying to pressure the B side. I love the fact that this time Blackhawk is playing from Snowball, so at least he kind of prevents that possibility of that man advantage for Salt Esports right off the get-go.
Hold on. They're still not pushing?
Yeah.
So patient from Salt Esports. And even the default is very wide this time around. Majority of players were focused towards the B side up until 10 seconds ago, but now they start to huddle up outside of A.
Yeah.
And they've left that player Jivix towards yellow. If he can sell the fake, and if he can keep the Viper and the Killjoy stationed over here, then the A side will become a lot more easier to deal with. First point of contact though will be Hacker.
Exactly, they've also pulled up the toxic screen over onto the B side as well, with the owl drone will be important.
Oh no.
It doesn't spot Hacker. This is bad. Yivix does get Blackhawk. Viper Spit activated, but here he comes. Hacker will be so quintessential right now. Site trying to pull off cheeky angles, but he will be taken down through the Viper Spit. Hacker falls down. He raises right in front of Stranger, but Stranger is going to find a second frag for himself.
Oh, and this is looking a bit sweaty now. The problem players have been dealt with, so no back pinches available for Orgless 5. They have to push through this toxin goo area. I mean, just so much of it. And there's so many angles as well. There is a little bit of an awkward crossfire between the Sage and the Viper. But the Sova really spot him? Yes, he does. He stops Swim from getting the high ground, and there you go. Even Vexy falls.
It's so it's so unfortunate for Wimp over there because he couldn't use his lockdown to force the Viper out of the side because the Hunter's Fury was available on Stranger. And that's unfortunate because a lockdown could have been so easier for Orgless 5 to actually go for that retake. One lockdown, you force out the players, the toxic screen, the green goo is down, and right now you've got the openings that you want. But unfortunately, there's an Hunter's Fury. A big badly is a beam which counteracts every single one. But on the other side, Blackhawk pulls out a Viper Spit of his own. The A side should be a closed door right now.
Yeah, but the door that they're looking to open. And the moment they open it, they see Blackhawk on the other end. And he says knock knock. No jokes, this time he's only here for lethality. Will he be able to deal with this counter push with brutality? Blackhawk is very keen to stay over here for as long as possible, but that patience, I don't think it's gonna pay off for him. Forced off of the side, let the lockdown, and I am indeed very surprised that they waited so long for this one. They waited simply so that God Vexy can't blow off the lockdown with the Hunter's Fury, but the snake bites are still enough to blow off demons.
Darky does get Blackhawk. The operator is still here, but you see him miss his first shot. Stranger, of course, will find Hacker. Wimp on the backstab will be spotted as well. So there's this backstab potential that has been neutralized. Two players in the forefront. This is going to be problematic, especially one with the operator. That can turn out to be a liability.
Oh my god. He's about to get hit, and there comes the drive-by. Wimp is about to fly through his opponents like that. But Darky hasn't gone checked. Will Wimp spot him? He tried to pre-fire that corner, but you can see he missed. And now Darky just has to waste his time. God Vexy has the pressure on him.
He has done enough.
He's just playing ring around the roses of the Fortin box. And he still gets that frag. That's just painful to watch.
Dude, I have no clue in spite of how Wim gets those two frags. Orgless 5 just could not win the round. Their two players got Vexy and Isite to try and hold back the rest of the players who were inside, because of course you saw how Gunner as well as Stranger were just drove by Wimp with that Spectre, but it just didn't really work. 7-1 the scoreline, and this looks very bleak. A possibility for an Orgless 5 comeback? I don't know, but we have seen a 93 scoreline in the first map. I'm not counting them out yet, but this is getting exponentially more difficult. This time, a different approach.
Oh, nice. They're finally using the mid, but nobody coming in from B main. There is Sova over there in form of Stranger, but he's not made his move. And they're planting for oranges too, so most likely they will go back towards the starting of mid area and under tube and defend it from there. Losing kitchens can be crucial for them because Orgless 5 are starting to take this area back, and having lost halls, they have nothing to play for except for these little nooks and crannies that lie in between oranges, and Darky more than capable of defending this region. But will he be able to stop the number of defenders coming towards him? The myriad of forces falls under the firepower of Demon and Darky. Oh my lord, they channel their dark forces inside out.
Absolutely. It was an ego round, so you can't really speak much about Orgless 5 as well. Even though they did drop a few guns, it was good. But you can see Salt Esports starting to once again show that they've got a much deeper strat book. This time it was a mid-execute with a lineup towards that kitchen door. The Poison Cloud was important, facilitate that push as well as the plant. And after they got the plant down, I guess it was really easy for them to kind of hold it back because the opponents were basically on sheriffs. But again, this was a very high risk maneuver and wouldn't really fancy in a buy round. So for Team Orgless 5, it's not all done and dusted. Team Assault Esports are still being opportunistic and finding the chunks in the armor. It's just about time when Orgless 5 sort of fix it up a little bit, fix up those patches, and maybe try and put up some sort of offense. They still have the potential, they still have the chance of making it 8-4, which would be a very decent scoreline, especially on defense and Icebox.
Speaking of defenses, I mean, I haven't seen too many switch-ups from Team Orgless 5. Blackhawk is still playing B, just like he was always doing it, using the same Toxin screen lineup that he was doing before. The only switch-up that I have seen is that now the players of Orgless 5 are more keen on focusing towards mid. But before that, they only had like one player over here, and the remaining three of them would play towards A. Of course, rotating between mid and A is still quick enough. They can still allocate their resources whenever they want, but they don't have to place any bets. Still, the amount of versatility that Team Salt Esports bring to the table is indeed quite high. And we saw that in Haven as well, right? They had a lot of strats on their attacking side. Meanwhile, Orgless 5, they did not have too many strats. But the few ones that they did have, they were more than capable of finishing the task and pulling off the comeback as well. Do you think they'll be able to mount a comeback in Icebox as well? Or will finally the side of Salt Esports be able to stamp their authority and push us to map 3?
Not really sure, but last time they did, but this time they don't really have a breach. Blackhawk, will he be able to take responsibility this time? Nobody knows. Aldrone being sent in, Stranger will spot those two players. The lockdown will throw them out of the site as well. Now the site has been compromised. Gunnar is still trying to be a little cheeky with the mid presence there. He might even stop a backstab potentially that comes in. Jivix finds the first frag, and now they've got man advantage as well.
Oh my god, this man advantage can be quickly neutralized. Demon kills... I mean, Hacker kills Demon, but the plant has already gone down, so the round is still in retake. Do they have a barrier orb available? Not anymore. Hacker's down, so they have to push in with just their guns and try to kill the people of the attacking side if they want to go for the defuse. They don't even have a lot of utility that they can use to secure some advantage or cover some ground. We found out doesn't reveal the Sova, but it does reveal Ascent. Is he able to step up? Not really. Got Bexy and Jivix, both of them low on HP. And Bexy's running out of time once again. He has flashbacks of the previous round flashing through his eyes. And he faces the same fate once again. Hey, that's okay, man. You still win the round.
I mean, yeah, for sure, but thanks for giving us content over there. We had a nice laugh. I mean, to be honest, Salt Esports, they've looked very strategic so far. The way they've been able to pursue the site, one owl drone, followed by a lockdown. One player pushes in, gets the kill deep into enemy territory, and then falls back. This is ideal stuff for Team Salt Esports, right? And I can't figure out a way that Orgless 5 can actually put up some sort of resistance. The only thing that they can possibly do is maybe to do something out of the box. Speaking of out of the box, the CT is playing from green boxes so far, but the owl drone can be a problem which has been broken. So they've still got some... the shock darts.
He tanks it. He tanks it like an absolute chat. Doesn't give away a peep. No sound cues. And considering they've already cleared this area, will they check it once more? They're not doing it. Jivix has gone past. Trigger discipline will be very important right now because Asite hasn't made his move. Now he finally starts to chase the fellow Jet, but he snuck past him once again. And Jivix has no idea that someone's behind him. He can at least get the kill onto Blackhawk if need be, but if both of them peek him from this narrow corridor, the numbers advantage will not matter. But Asite, with even fancier footwork, gets that kill. All of this will not be of any use at all because the assault is coming towards the A site. They will be able to plant, but they've lost too many players by just trying to commit them. And now both of them will be detained. Finally, some redemption.
Finally, some redemption. But Team Salt Esports, they really didn't need to change up these stats. But this time, they hold up way too long outside the B side, which kind of paid them, which did not pay them the dividends, of course. But the second round is here for Orgless 5, and they are en route for a consecutive 9-3.
I mean, you know what happens when 9-3 comes on board.
Dude, this is statistics at this point.
I mean, we saw it, bro. We saw it in the last game.
Exactly, right? I don't know if people are gonna call it curse or anything, but there are certain neurons I feel that fire up when you see 9-3. It's almost like you see your crush right in front of you and your pupils just widen up.
Oh my god, okay. Someone's been watching too much Bollywood. Okay, let's see if these pupils can train the target in their center. Blackhawk is playing under his one-way smoke, which is a little iffy. He won't have the first line of sight, but he can swing wide if Jivix also helps him out. Asite is the one who does all the heavy lifting, and Blackhawk doesn't even need to step up. All he did was just reveal his position, and then while they were busy shooting Blackhawk, Ascent steps up and saves him. Gunnar though does get revived, but the one-way smoke will give him a clear line of sight onto team, and the return frag comes through, but at what cost? It's essentially a 4 versus 3 with all the defenders having advantages.
Trades once again back and forth. Blackhawk finds Stranger, and now you can see that Connor still yet to find some sort of ground on the side. This Viper Spade is going to help him though, but the way Orgless 5 can pursue is maybe use the Hunter's Fury to deny the path.
Yeah, and they go for the fake plant just because they want to bait the Hunter's Fury out. Will Gunnar swing wide? Blackhawk is just on the other side, and Blackhawk spots the barrel, flicks onto him. 9-3 once again. Salty, I am starting to get nervous now.
Nervous I am as well, because this team always finds a way to survive when the pressure is at its peak. Orgless 5, what can they do right now? They are on the attack. They will dictate the pace of the game. They will dictate which side the action is going to happen. And I hope that their strat book is deep enough. Last game, they didn't really need a deep enough strat book because the breach was capable enough of brute forcing the A side over and over again. This time, they don't have that potential. They still have a player in the name of a CTA who can clean up the site all by his own sheer will. But the fact that you can't really play on the back of flashes, on the back of stuns, it's not going to be easy for him. Since the task is paramount and it's exponentially tougher, I feel like it's going to be a much more difficult task, but you can always rely on the fact that there are 4 other players who are equally as capable as CTA and can also support him in getting this comeback possible.
Well, the comeback begins with small steps. And the first step in their massive staircase will be winning the pistol round. And after they win the pistol round, they have to survive the force buy, which comes through the side of Salt Esports. I'm confident they will go for the force buy, regardless of whether they win the round. Another tech pause. Seems like we've been having a bit too many of these, but bear with us, ladies and gentlemen. It at least gives enough time to the players of Orgless 5 to get their minds together, right? They've been on the bottom end before. They have climbed up and scaled these massive mountains. They have reached the summit and planted their flag deep in the grounds of Haven. Can they do it once again in the icy tundra?
I mean, you know what? I think doing it a second time in a row is really difficult. Sometimes you do it and you think about it like, oh, it probably was just, I don't know, a luck by chance incident. But this time, they need to kind of prove themselves that they can actually pull it off every single time when it's 93.
Yeah, really wish CC was here though. He would have had some really interesting things to say about this. I'm pretty sure the conversation would be worth its weight in gold. But now the action will unfold as we are about to start with the second half. And it's going to be a fast push towards the B side. Oh, no, wait. Never mind. I take my words back. It's not at all fast. It's nice and slow.
Yeah.
Spot out Gunner, but yeah, even though he falls back, they still have
Look
to
at
clear
the
out yellow.
rotate. All of those defenders just running back into the side. Information was relayed that split second, and you were right, this kind of is not that slow either. I mean, this is a pretty unique wall. They look to fight towards mid, and they sort of succeed. The entire team of Orgless 5, they rip apart the defense.
And this is a big brain move. Never in a million years would the defenders have expected that the side of Orgless 5 will push them towards oranges instead of going for the plant. The moment that wall came in, it sort of indicated that these guys were looking to fight, but I don't think there was enough time for the defenders to make adjustments. And speaking of adjustments, look at this massive needle that Demon is about to thread right through its eyes. Nobody has spotted him just yet, and the trigger discipline finally pays him off. As CJ dropped a blitz to a Sheriff, gets another shot, but finally Hacker brings it back. Very innovative approach from Orgless 5 this time. And it works. It was risky, but it works.
Absolutely, take the fight to the opposition, play with their guns, play with their minds, try and challenge them as much as possible. I feel like that is the mindset that we're looking forward from Orgless 5. Inheriting the approach from someone like Asai or Excali and using it on other players. It's good stuff. The first round was very, very successful, but this time they've got different plans. They're moving towards the A side, and the read is so good. 5 players. It's going to be a 5v5. It looks like it's going to be a battle royale at this point because right now this is no more a tactical shooter. It's a gun ball.
Yeah, this is like playing deathmatch. And what happens when you get into a free-for-all deathmatch? You have bodies dropping the floor. Sova versus Sova, 1 versus 1. And all the time in the world. Spike spotted. Stranger hand. He can also pick up a nice gun. In fact, he can go all the way around God Vexy. He knows that he
Vexy will
spotted
be
Stranger
paranoid.
towards Raptors, but even then, he's going to look for him.
God, Vexy, so paranoid about Stranger and his location. He completely forgot about the spike, but there's still time. But the thing is, he needs to spot Stranger.
Oh no, he missed it, and now he's got a bigger gun. Imagine God Vexy expecting a classic, but instead he
Finding
picks
a
the
Guardian.
Yeah. I mean, things could have been worse. There was the Vandal over there. If Stranger picked that up, then things would have been very different. At least God Vexy has time to play with. But this angle, it's perfect. Will he win?
10
He tags
HP?
him down to 11, and this is so anxiety-inducing. It's not even a fake, but the shot art is perfect. He knew exactly where God Vexy will be. And now he's going to go all the way around, back from screens.
I love this Stranger. Of course, doing a lot of cardio. Quite low on HP, but if this cardio helps him, then well, it's all good. Guardian versus a Spectre. It's all about finding where the player is going to come from, and God Vexy's got the right idea. He's spotted him. He's got the recon as well. He's got the out drone, shock darts, every single piece of utility that he can potentially use right now. The spike is planted in a not so comfortable position where he can defend.
He knew exactly where the drone location will be, so he shock darts that too. Now both of them are extremely low on health, but Stranger is sticking it. God Vexy calls his bluff.
God Vexy, God Vexy, God Vexy. You've got to give us a little less heart
Anxiety.
diseases.
Yeah, that too.
But anyway, first 2 rounds for the side of Team Orgless 5, and this is when they can actually start a steam engine. They can start the steam engine and can run over the entirety of Team Salt Esports. You remember how Salt Esports won the first 5 rounds? If Team Orgless 5 can do that, this would mean the game changer. But I don't think that's going to be happening. Even though we have a full buy, we have a force buy coming in from Orgless 5, so they do want to take the fight against them.
This is shaping up to be one of those rounds again where these guys walk into a trap. Killjoy and Viper Utility, all of it has been used on the A side, and even the Viper Utility now acts somewhat like a pseudo sentinel. They don't even use the nanoswarm to clear out the server room. It's been destroyed already. Slowly and steadily, like a turtle, they are approaching this site. But will the shell of this turtle be enough to protect them and their backs as well? God Vexy leaving the front with the Guardian, and trades going back and forth, but still they haven't found anything that is concrete enough.
Yeah.
And the loss of Hacker means they don't even have the barrier orb which they can use to plant.
2 players. Blackhawk still looking forward for one more pick for himself. Wim trying to be a little aggressive. Toxic speed shouldn't really be enough for him. He finds 2 frags, which is good. It's a 1v2 right now for Blackhawk. Tries to go for a fake plant, but Demon finds ahead. Takes him out. Once again, a very big gamble that didn't pay off, and now they've got to fight off some economic dumpsters.
And dumpster diving has never been fun. Unless you're Peter Parker.
Yeah. I mean, 1 Guardian and God Vexy is all that they're gonna buy, I feel. Sheriffs and Light Shields. The rest of the team, not that healthy. Meanwhile, Team Salt Esports, this is another opportunity for them to reclaim the lost throne. They lost 4 rounds consecutive, but the win in that round was so crucial. They can get to 5-11. This one itself. The approach is nice. Givix might take the first kill. First contact, first kill as well.
And after the first contact, he doesn't change position. He still stays on top of yellow, knowing fully well that there's nothing that they can do to derail him from that position. But Blackhawk,
Also
amazing.
Demon.
Both of them stepping up. but there's only so much the Sheriffs can do. Okay, I take my word back. Guardian can pack a serious punch. But Demon has the Resurrection available. Unfortunately, he can't revive his teammate towards yellow because that will be a little bit of a bait and he doesn't want to be a bad teammate, but they'll give up the site. They'll much likely let them plant and they have enough utility to help them go for the retake, so no problems.
They do go in for the resurrection, but at this point, it's not really that useful because there's only God Vex available.
Yeah, they don't want to take any risk either, so might as well turn it into a 1v4. We've seen God Vexy clutch out so many of these situations, so they have to overwhelm him with the numbers. He's got the Hunter's Fury to deny the defuse, but even then, I don't think that's going to be possible. I mean, they can still stick it. And they don't even fight him. Look at the patience that these guys have. God Vexy has to go for it. Had really no other choice. It's a bit unfortunate, but at least they got the plant. That's all they wanted from that eco.
Yeah. It's a little painful to watch, but the way Orgless 5 are struggling once again in order to execute their sites is sort of revolving around a CT, right? If a CT succeeds, the rest of the team kind of funnel up right behind him. They get the site and the entire control of it. But if he fails, the rest of the team are starting to crumble. And this is the point which I raised at the end of the first half as well. If this man succeeds in opening up sites, it would mean the world to Team Orgless 5. So far, so forth, we haven't seen a lot, apart from the first 2 rounds. Once again, they've got that fat stack to A. Not a fat stack, but they've got 2 players. Again, this OVA is still shuttling between the A and the B side, but Gunnar pushing up his own toxic screen is sort of very interesting. Brings it down, tries to go for a battle, but he will be pushed back by the Ultra.
Alright, he better fall back as far as he can because this hit is about to be obvious. But I hate to be ominous, even the retake will come through before this can even start. Look at the amount of defenders present over here. Both the lockdowns invested and so is the Hunter's Fury. But will they make it through in time? It's taking 55 seconds. They're doing everything they can to stop the plant from happening, but so far, the only thing that's been exchanged has been utility. Finally, a pack does come through, but this Viper's Fate can definitely turn things around. Spike dropped in the middle of nowhere, so Jivix is still keen on hitting all the shots as they try to recover. Blackhawk going for some moves, trying to climb up, but he will be going down instead.
There's no line of sight. These players just spotting their opposition and just clicking heads right now. Yevix, I have no clue how he managed to find 3 frags amidst that chaos over there in that A side, but it still was a phenomenal round. The attackers Killjoy didn't really do much. They just waited in position and waited for the players to funnel in. And as soon as they dropped in, the recon dot was there, players were spotted, and Yevix was just hitting heads.
He's been clicking heads, spraying through bodies, pumping his enemy's guts full of lead all day long. And he's got enough fight in him to last all night. Oh,
yeah,
look at this aggressive stuff. He's inside his own poison cloud on pipes. I think this can be a bit obvious. The Viper's toxin screen will probably make sure that he goes unchecked and he finds the timing on God Vexy. Turns around to hit a CT as well, bro. That's not allowed. He let Wimp pass deliberately so that his teammates get baited into believing there's a security net, but finally Wimp makes good on his errors.
Dude, Wimp is simply running around. He's running around inside with a Spectre and he's wrecking havoc. So far, Yevix can be a difference maker right now coming in from the backstab. There is still Demon who is still available. So this is a 2-way pinch that is coming through. But how successful it is going to be? Not really much because Wimp find a quad for himself. He runs around once again and finds the ace with a Phantom. What a round!
Bro, okay, first of all, you have to take it slowly. We'll take a look at the highlights and we'll see Wimp's ace in all its glory, but there are several things that could have gone wrong with this one. First of all, Wimp leading the charge himself, his teammates following behind, was the problem because Wimp went past undetected, no problem. But his teammates, who are right behind him, assuming that he cleared out those spaces, did not check for that little Viper on pipes, and that's what caused the death of 2 of his teammates. Of course, then Wimp had to take a U-turn and then come in and slay everyone else. But that little false sense of security could have resulted in Salty Sports winning this round right here and now. Ace from Wimp keeps him alive, but will he thrive? Nope, I can't say so. At least not for Blackhawk. Esite pushes through that Viper's pit. Very brave move, and he pays the price with his life. Spike spotted, and now this might just be the end of the game unless Wimp can pull something out once more. He's burning in the Nano Swarm, and now in his grave. No more raves for this man as Salt Esports finally pushes into map number 3.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to Ascent. What a game it has been. Of course, Orgless 5 were denied every single inch of real estate on Icebox. You can already see the Salt Esports, they're rejoicing because they deserve every single bit of it. Complete domination right from the beginning till the very end. There was a moment's hesitation when we saw a 9-3 scoreline, but it has been proven that there is no
correlation.
scientific backing exactly. Salt Esports. The performance was really good on this map.
Whew, indeed. And this time they don't even let Orgless 5 go for the comebacks. They stamp their authority, they seal the win, and they move on to map number 3, which is gonna be anyone's game, to be honest. That map, there's no saying who wins it. So we are back to square one, essentially.
Absolutely. At the end of like 2-3 hours, it is square one, and the final map will determine who wins this best of 3 series. At least either of them got a point for themselves, ladies and gentlemen. But the third map, the decider, is going to come after a very short break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the LG Ultragear presents the Tec Gauntlet Season 4, powered by Crucial. Our apparel partners are 656. We'll come back after a very short break.
legends of memory and storage. Crucial brings you the ultimate performance in gaming. Legendary products. Precision engineered. For speed and stability. Crucial ballistics.
A few maps ago, I made the joke that welcome back to Comeback Central, yada, yada, yada. I don't think I can say it anymore. No comebacks this time around. Scores are tied. It's 1-1. You guys are watching Salt Esports going up against Orgless 5. This is Tec Gauntlet powered by Ultragear, Crucial, and 6x6. We're heading into Ascent, the most neutral map of them all.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't predict who's going to win this one. This could be anyone's game.
Absolutely, and I kind of think it would be a very quick game as well because I think the teams would go all guns blazing, right? And even though there should be strategies, I feel like it is going to come down to firepower at the end of the day. Either Orgless 5 or Team Salt Esports, one of them will triumph the other. And it's just a matter of time. I feel like Team Salt Esports, they have found the mojo, they have found the groove for themselves. 13-6 was a very big win. And on Icebox, on their opponent's turf, the way they dominated and the way they had a much deeper playbook, I think on the map of Ascent as well, they can kind of establish similar attributes.
Well, I'm not really sure about similar attributes, but the key differences in the attacking half of these teams, at least in Haven, was that Salt Esports are a lot more versatile. And even though Orgless 5 didn't have as many strats in Haven, the few strats that they did pull in their attacking half, they worked. Can't
Yeah.
really say the same for Icebox, but in Ascent, I'm hoping they will have an easier time considering they are full of firepower and even Asite is hitting his shots. I think they can give Team Salt Esports a run for their money. But will Salt Esports bring superior coordination? I mean, at the end of the day, in a map like Ascent, it all boils down to trading.
Yeah, absolutely. Trade is going to be there, but the Asian composition also matters, and I yet to find out if both the teams will actually play a double initiator composition, maybe a breach once again, if there are going to be flashes and fault lines, or is there going to be a sky, or maybe even a potential double duelist as well. But for that, we need to just wait before we move into the Asian selection very, very soon. But so far, so forth, what we've seen right now is Orgless 5. They're trying to play it on the back of some nice firepower. They're trying to kind of brute force their way into sides. They're trying to switch things up. CJ has been hitting his shots, but the entire team, I feel like they lack a leader right now. They can't really channelize all their efforts into one prime target. That would be getting the round on board and getting the map secured. They did kind of win the map of Haven. I wouldn't say that it was a fluke, but for sure, the map of Icebox, the way Salt Esports dominate, kind of tells you one story that Orgless 5 were chasing the game even when they were winning it.
Let's see if they can win in Ascent. We're going to be jumping into agent selection soon, my friends. And without further ado, let's take a look at which guys these characters will be playing. Uh, I think there might be a chamber this game. Do you think? Is that a possibility? Or is that too much of a risk?
I haven't seen a chamber in competitive so far,
Yeah,
and I don't think I'm
not
gonna
at
see it.
least.
I don't think I'm gonna see him soon as well. Gunner picking up the breach. I kind of thought that we will see a breach on the map for Sent as well, and here we have it. The rolling thunder, the flashes can certainly help the team move inside, but I guess Stranger will pick up his default. So no surprises. Double initiative composition on Team Scott Esports. On the other side for Orgless 5, what do they come up with? CJ though picking up his default jet. Um, the possibility is going to be Wimp on KJ, Hacker on Astra, Blackhawk and God Vexi on Breach and Sova. That is something which I'm looking forward to, Crips. But what are your
Uh,
thoughts? Oh,
excuse me, Wimpan
yeah.
Astra?
Okay. Blackhawk on KO.
Ew. Okay, I'm throwing my hands up in the air. This is not gonna be able. This is not easy for me to predict. I mean, we've seen Hacker and Blackhawk on the Astra before, but I've never seen Wimp on Astra. God Vexi on Sova is something that we can expect, so no problems over there. Hacker on Killjoy also fine enough, but Wimp on Astra, I've really not seen this man play a controller before.
Exactly, and to be honest, it's just a reversal of roles right now because have a look at this KJ on Hacker, which is generally played by Wimp, and Wimp and Hacker kind of plays the Astra. So it's basically a reversal of roles, and I don't really know why did they opt for it. I guess it's a map preference or they just want to experiment. You don't really know, but if it works, and there's no
Yeah.
problem. But the fact that there's a KO, I'm not really sure how those pop flashes are going to have the team facilitate inside the site. Maybe it can be good, but maybe the breach can be better.
Yeah, I think the only reason that they have picked up the Skeo is because they expected a breach pick. And honestly, that's the only character that they need to counter in this game. We saw how deadly those spot lines were in Haven, and Gunner was doing a very good job with the timing of that bot line and coordinating with his fellow Jet and sometimes even his fellow Sova to peek on the back of it.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure, there was a lot of good stuff that Gunnar pulled off, and in this match as well, I feel like there is going to be some of those similar stuff. But just waiting for this game to begin and find out in person what good stuff is Gunnar preparing us for. He is moving to the A side, while the rest of the team is moving towards B. So that's interesting. Right at the get-go, Team Salt Esports want to mix things up.
Well, not too many mixings. The witch has still yet to put the spices in the cauldron. Although they have spotted out quite a lot of people towards B. One spotted on B main, one spotted on B link. Demon trying to make his way through mid. He will be met with an alarm bot as soon as he reaches market. So that mid plus B split, probably not as easy as they think for now. Although I must point out that all this patience is kind of working in the favor of the defenders. The less time that there is available for the attackers, they have to burst into the side in just a moment's notice, and they're just waiting on the utility of the Astra to initiate. Now they go through Fault line stuns out the first player, but God Vexy still has his bits about him. Hacker, his Killjoy turret is able to kill Darky. That's the biggest KJ diff that you'll ever see. And he's still keen on fighting them. Look at how aggressively he's playing way out in the open, baiting Gunner to fight him in that corner, and then God Vexy finishes off with the shock dart. I'm not sure if that was intended, but it worked like a charm.
For sure it did. Vimp on the backstab. Demon completely caught in this. And of course, he is gonna fall. Team Orgless 5 get their first round, ladies and gentlemen. And we start off Ascent with a bang. There was an entire brawl outside the B side. And I'm pretty sure this entire map is gonna be a brawl fest. But need to find out if it actually turns out to be a successful one for either of these sides. For Orgless 5 though, they found Melody in Chaos in the first round. They could land their shots, their shock darts connected as well. And everything that they tried worked. But it wasn't really like Salt Esports put like their best strat up front.
I think they still have quite a lot of things up their sleeve. Cards that they'll pull out in the right moment. And those are their trump cards. I hope they don't end up using all of them right at the start of the game. They need to conserve some of those for the later rounds. I mean, their execute this time around was also pretty good, right? It covered all the bases. They had smokes towards the standard default locations on market and the defender entrance. The fault line covers up lane 1 and 2. But then it was mostly the positioning of God Vexy that helped them out. I mean, he was in a 1-and-1 position of sorts, down in the water of B side. From there is a tiny angle that only allows him to click heads, and if he does click them, well, then it's all fine and dandy. If he doesn't, he will not have backup from Ascent because he was stunned at that point.
Yeah.
Hacker had to come through that nebula way out in the open and fight like an absolute madman simply to save Ascent's life. And even though he was fighting out in the open, which I would have disproved of, he unknowingly baited Gunner into the right-hand side corner of that B main tunnel, which then allowed Vexy to get an easy kill with the shock dart. So it's a chain of events. It's like dominoes. Once the dominoes are set in motion, they all fall one after the other. And it started with Hacker's reckless push through the smoke.
Yeah.
He still makes it work though. He's got 2 kills, so I can't complain. He's done his job. And hey, if it's not broken, then don't fix it.
Absolutely. It definitely isn't broken right now. We just got to see the first round. So maybe it will work in the next one as well because of the upgraded weaponry. But once again, we are waiting for internet gods to actually mercy upon us.
Ah, the internet gods. How many times have we faced this problem?
It's sort of like once every map. Is it a routine?
2-3 times every map, bro. 2-3 times every map.
Oh, yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I feel like giving some nice peace of my mind to all these ISPs and, you know, showering them with the most colorful vocabulary. Of course, most rude, colorful vocabulary. I'm sure that was obvious.
Absolutely.
But then, you know, I don't do it because then they'll start saying, oh, gamers are so violent, they're so rude. And it kind of acts against the stereotype that gamers can only think about shooting and whatnot. So that's probably why I don't do it.
That's deep thinking, but I guess that's a good start. That's definitely a good start. I don't think we should be rude to anybody, irrespective of what. But anyway, we're still waiting for players to come back. I think it's probably. I think it's probably because of a few players facing ping issues or packet loss issues, but whatever this map. I mean, I waited for this Ascent map for a very long time. I wanted to see the outcome of this game. And I guess we're rolling.
Oh yeah, finally, we're back. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to rumble. This time, the assault is going to be towards the A side. It was a little slow burn approach from the side of Salt Esports. They took their sweet time positioning, but once the execute started, they hit like a truck at max velocity. This time around, though, they have a few players positioned towards high mid and they're starting to creep up towards 3. But at the same time, they're making sure that nobody of the defenders can push through Blink. But oh my god, Ascent is so precise. He strikes twice, maybe even thrice over here in the corner as he almost jump shot at Darky and he finally does it.
All that mid-aggression has been extinguished. T1 does find himself in a sneaky little position inside the A side, but will be instantly taken down, cleaned up by Blackhawk. Nice shot. But it wasn't eager around, it was comfortable, and now Team Orgless 5, they get the start that they needed on the map of Ascent. This was a good start, but for Team Salt Esports, they've got to reconsider right now what sort of strategy do they want to apply. We haven't seen a lot of Breach play so far. We haven't seen a lot of Sova play so far. Mostly the second round, all of that was denied because all of these players walking up catwalk was extinguished by one man known as Zeta and his Marshall. But this time, I'm pretty sure there are going to be a lot of utility play. There is going to be a fake as well because I can see 2 players towards the B corridor. You can see 2 players towards A or probably even 3. Okay, so it's 3 towards B, 2 towards A. The spike isn't traveling anywhere. Information play, patient start to the round once again, Trips.
Yeah, this patient does help Salt Esports gather information, but as soon as I say that, it's Orgless 5 who's getting all the information on A main, and they get a pick towards B link as well. So this is so much value extracted in just a couple of seconds. They spot out 2 players on A main, they spot one in B link and murder him too. Now they know for a fact that Salt Esports are going for a default, so Orgless 5 can fall back, chill out, and they know that the ball is in the attacking court.
Drone definitely broken. Darky still holding on, but the spike has traveled towards the B side. And I feel like the read is appropriate. They've got the jet towards market, still trying to hold down the mid region. They've got 2 players towards the B side. They've got KJ, you've got Godvexy as well. I feel there is enough firepower that they can hold this back. Hacker with a nice nanoswarm does take out Hunter. Trades happening left and right. Stranger still finds Hacker in return. You can see the Salt Esports are starting to funnel in from first lane, but Godvex is still trying to hold back the Ares, and the buff can actually help him survive this. First one down, second one down, third one!
Do it. Just do it. Darky's getting pulled, and he's getting pulled in every direction, limb from limb, as they desecrate him, decimate him, and bury them right there. It can be so annoying to deal with an Ares in this angle. Like, you can't even pre-fire, bro. The water in that site, it gives away your footsteps much louder to the defender over there. So he's gonna be the one pre-firing you first. And even if you somehow deal with Godvexy, consider the angle it puts you in. If you have to push through that tiny arch in the back of Boathouse, you then become exposed to the person standing on the stairs in lane 2. The person can play bait. The lane 2 guy, there was nobody present this time around, but he can literally bait his teammate and the bait will still have bite. That's how powerful that position is. Blackhawk, though, powerful pushes from him as he nails 2 of them down. And while they're busy looking towards Blackhawk, Ascent then peeks. Classic bait and switch, and Orgless 5 are playing this like a fiddle.
Absolutely.
Given that this is an eco round, they would have won it anyway, but still, the timings on their attacks are so good.
Darky does find himself with the spike in this very weird spot, but he can't really push up because there's a lot of players who are checking that angle. There are players right behind him as well. The entirety of the map control is in favor of Team Orgless 5 right now. Demon will be taking down poor Darky.
Tell me something, how is Ascent up there with Darky still on catwalk? Bro, like, they go undetected. It's almost like he's wearing Harry Potter's invisibility cloak. Someone call up J.K. Rowling, man. There's been a theft in Hogwarts.
Intellectual property, no more. It's Team Orgless 5's CJ.
Yeah, Ascent, while he's climbing up on mid, he's like, hippity hoppity, top mid's my property.
Okay, so I'm one of the few guys who has never watched Harry Potter his entire life. So maybe I'll not understand the reference. Please no hate in chat, guys. I'm sorry. I'm not a man of culture.
Nah, that's okay. We know you used to watch Hello Kitty as a kid. Oh, they're playing kitties around the smokes. And they're jumping around like rabbits too, whacking them with mallets. Will they be able to follow up? Wimp pushes out of A main while all this bonanza is happening on mid, and the Blackhawk has the worst luck ever. The Nebula fades as he pulls out a flash. Ascent gets swung on by Darky. He's exacting revenge for what happened to him in the last round.
He definitely does. 2v4, 2v3 right now. Stranger in this very, very crucial spot. He has vision on both of them right now in front of him. They will try and double peek him. They could have almost lined up, but Godvexy finds Stranger. Important frag. A lockdown can actually be very useful. I'm pretty sure he will deploy it once Spike is planted.
Yeah, but the spike is going towards B. The Breach deliberately used the fault line over there to hopefully keep those two defenders stationed on the A side, deliberately revealing his position like that, but the spike's already gone.
Of course, the Breach will be able to regroup as well with Darky. You know, Godvexy, I guess he's got the drone available. Yes, he does. Will check every single corner, but not the side so far. I guess they expect him to be in both houses, so they are very preemptive about the rest of the regions. Gunner coming in from main can be a very big threat. Flash comes through, both of them are flashed. Godvexy goes down, he's got a rolling thunder available as well, but Wim finds a way to a second lane. No, he actually fakes it. Nice work there, but the Nanoswarm almost eats him up. Instead, just strike off almost because it actually does eat him up.
That was a very brave push by Wim through that Nanoswarm. And I understand why he did it. He knew that the Killjoy was not there in the back of Boathouse, but instead on the actual side. So he wanted to force that fight against Darky. But nah, the Nanoswarm burns you a bit too much. Plus, the fact that the turret is shooting at you and slowing you down, thereby not letting you exit the Nanoswarm in time, makes it worse.
Exactly, literally a sixth man in the team once again.
Yeah.
This time, Team Salt Esports, they do something different, trying to huddle up all outside the A side. Of course, all of them, almost all of them will be revealed and suppressed as well. So no utility, and more so information has been relayed. Now, it's also very obvious that they're going to fall back and maybe hit the side after some time. The read is really good from the other team, locked on deployed as well. You can see that 4 players from Team Orgless 5, they're already in position. The Nebula is there as well.
Lockdown destroyed already before anything can even happen. We'll have to take a look at the highlights to see that big brain maneuver. But for now, Orgless 5 are pushing their luck. They want to counter push the Salt Esports players, and they're climbing above and beyond the walls, scaling the heights and raining death and destruction from above. Gunner, he's trapped in there. Nobody can dig him out of this little awkward spot, but maybe Demon can still be relevant near the button. Spike, however, has been dropped all the way down in hell. He's gonna have to dig it out, somehow go for the plant, and survive this 1v2 situation all in less than 30 seconds.
There's an on Godvexy. And he's gonna launch it right in face of Demon, take him down, retrieve the operator as well. See those 2 big guns, they've been saved once again, and the way Orgless defended this push was just so brilliant, and part of it was because of KO's instant ability. The read from it was so good. You see it climbing up the walls. It kind of feels like the double updraft. It makes the walls of Ascent look a little short. But that was just so good to watch. Every time these players climb up the walls and take players down with a knife, it's very beautiful to watch, actually.
It is indeed. It's like highlight worthy. I see it though. Won't get revealed. Still peeks out. Oh, they find him. And the collateral. What? That's one way to nail your opponents to the wall.
I have nothing to say about this guy. I legit have nothing to say about this. He individually stops the push again, trying to get some information. The Nebula was there. I mean, what more can you do? You put a goddamn smoke in mid, but this man once again peeks out, takes the risk, gets that reward, and falls back to safety. Of course, he has been burnt down a little bit by the frenzy. This time a fragment goes in as well, but Demon wouldn't be taking any damage from it. Blackhawk swings wide. Pop flash. Frenzy not really helping him.
And the pre-fire comes through as well. I was surprised, not gonna lie, when Demon managed to survive that Gravity Well and Fragment combination. That could have been disastrous if anyone got stuck inside it. But what the Fragment cannot do, Blackhawk will do it himself. Mind you that this is my first time watching Blackhawk on a KO. At least in Gauntlet. He might have done it previously, but certainly he's trying to fill Sai's shoes and he's doing a damn good job at it. Even Wim, for that matter, he's doing a phenomenal job on that Astra. He's not comfortable with that character. Maybe he is, but we've never seen him do it in Gauntlet. We've never seen him play Astra before. But the sudden exit of his teammates doesn't seem to bother this team too much. And with the CT being given so much freedom, they can continue doing whatever they want. As long as they are able to trade, they will still have the numbers.
Exactly, the prior synergy and combination between Wimp and Blackhawk is sort of helping them, right? They're pulling in the big shoes, they're helping the team as an anchor. You've got Godvexy as well, who can actually individually clutch, give you information to work with. CJ and Hacker mostly are playing free role responsibilities, and they're doing justice to it as well. They've been successful in getting kills. CJ, of course, has been getting some big shots so far. Salt Esports, they're trying to execute the side, but Wimp is doing a good job in trying to kind of disguise his presence inside his own nebula, but that's not helping him. Spray does come through, Blackhawk finds 2, but Team Salt Esports, they brute force their way in. The spike will be planted and there's no denial about it.
Yeah, but there is a lockdown. It can be used to...
And an Odin.
Easier. Oh my god, Gunner aggressing beyond what was required off of him. And there's more shock darts to land in the back of Generator in case someone's still stuck over there. They know that they have boiled out the players away from the site, but they will most likely expect them to be towards A main. They will not think that Jivix will play towards tree. Regardless of that, Hacker will try to confirm any presence in this region, and the fancy football keeps him alive for just a second longer, long enough to let Godvexy chime in with a kill of his own.
Even Godvexy is at 10 HP, so I feel like he did a good job over there, Demon, but yeah, that's about it. Finding 11 frags, 7-1 the scoreline right now. Orgless 5 are literally running away with the game. They're not giving an inch of space to Salt Esports, even with the breach. It's sort of very interesting to find that this time the breach is not helping them move in. For sure there are flashes, for sure there are aftershocks, fault lines as well, but even after all of those utility being dumped into one site, it just can't clear all those corners.
Yeah, there's just too many of them now, aren't there?
Yeah.
This is such a big reversal of storylines because in the first 2 maps, it was always Salt Esports who was getting the lead. 9-3 in both the maps first half. But this time, the tables have turned. 7-1. And as long as Team Orgless 5 keep this pressure on, they will be able to take the series. A proper A-shot execute. Not something we've seen in a long time from the side of Salt Esports. The funny part is they always go A-shot whenever they're on an eco. But a CT, that was a kill and a half. Op dropped over there, gives them an opportunity, but Wimp is holding on all by himself. Stepping up with the Phantom. He can't make anything else work, but he's done his job more than enough. A little opportunity for Hacker to push out of the smoke. Missed it, but now he knows that both the players are towards tree, so Blackhawk will not let them exit. He'll not have the line of sight. He won't fight until they swing this corner, but he can just make sure that they don't fall back from this region, thereby turning this into a prison.
A wraparound, of course, is going to be crucial, and that is exactly what Blackhawk does. Misses that little window that he had before the wall closing. The knife will do enough. No stars for you, Lady Astra. Fragments denying Yevix the space to your flashes come through as well. Yevix could work on to Hacker, but the Odin is here already. Yevix doing a lot of heavy lifting for his team, and now it's gonna be a storyline between 2 big guns. Odin versus an operator. Shock darts come through. If it connects, Yuvik is done and dusted.
Oh, it's not planted for him. Half diffuse done. He's taking it. And Jivik still peaks. Finally another round going in the favor of Salt Esports. That was a bit too much for my anxiety, not gonna lie. They dropped that operator as soon as Ascent died. And he died while peeking out of the nebula, which obviously was a risky move, but he was well versed with the risks. He knew what was at stake. And giving that up is what led to their demise.
Even Blackhawk was success doing this.
Yeah, probably, but even Blackhawk was positioned perfectly, right? He made sure that they can't fall back towards the P side, and he only started to peek when that turret was broken by the Opper. And he could have killed them both. He even suppressed the Astra. Unfortunately, couldn't suppress the Jet, but that's okay. There should have been enough for Team Orgless 5 to win the round, but hey, it's only 1 loss. And the funny part is, if they defeat Salt Esports in this round, they will reset their entire economy. And in that case, the only person left with money would be Jivix.
What can Salt Esports string together in this round? No information yet. Almost 30 seconds spent on the clock. There's a cosmic divide. There's a Rolling Thunder as well. Hacker being forced to play this. A nice gravity well. Got Vexy getting the first kill for himself. Now you can see that this team Salty Esports, they are being forced to play this. Nice Astral Divide coming in from the other team as well. 2 Astral Divides, 1 Rolling Thunder committed. This is an ultimate frag fest right now, and God Vexy is going berserk with the Odin inside side.
We saw him do some ridiculous stuff with Ares. This time he's got a bigger gun. And he's got more fun to show at them. Perfectly predicting Gunner's position. And they push him as soon as he plants the lockdown. No quarter given by Orgless 5. Nearly perfect counter initiation. Look at the way these guys dealt with the Rolling Thunder. Nobody got stunned. Not a single soul. The Cosmic Divide keeps them safe from market and from defender spawn as well. So how does Hacker respond in return? He walks towards lane 2 in order to stop them from coming through. And while these guys, the players of Salt Esports are busy funneling themselves in through the lane 1 region, the Cosmic Divide is actually a little ahead of B main. So that kind of gives so many more angles to check for the side of Salt Esports. And all this time that they spend checking the angles means less time they have to plant the spike. And less bandwidth to, be mindful of counter pushes.
Exactly, there were gravity wells to deal with as well. CT finds the first one, finds the second one as well, can get away. Blackhawk finds a third. This is nice work from Orgless 5. CT always pushing out. Okay. That's a little cheeky. Demon all by himself right now. Once again, mid pushes being absolutely demoralized. And one of the reasons why this has happened so much is because they don't really check a CT and his position every single time. Like every other time they push out mid, nobody checks the CT and his positioning. Even though they do use Nebulas, the CTA still finds a way to disrespect it. Sometimes he actually pushes out of it. Sometimes there's a small gap in the Nebula, or there's a small gap above the Nebula from where he can actually peek and get those kills.
I swear, and he's always working around those smokes. I mean, Salt Esports always lock down that area with the Nebula, but still, he finds a way. And when he doesn't find a way, he pushes beyond the smoke and gets a kill, dashes back to safety. And this time he went even more on the gas pedal, right? He just never let his foot off of it. He got 2 kills, that was good enough, but does that satisfy him? No. He asks Blackhawk to throw one more flash, and then he peeks on the back of it again to get the third one. The relentless pursuit from Ascent, and he's making sure that his team has a strong foothold in this half. Timeout taken. At this point, the players of Salt Esports must believe in the 9-3 superstition. They have to if they want to make a comeback. 10-2 would be a little too much for them to climb.
Absolutely. And if this happens, Scripps, this would be the 3rd consecutive time we get to see it 9-3.
I know, right?
The first 2 instances were like roles reversal. It was Salt Esports who were dominating, but this time, Orgless 5, the tables are turned right now.
Oh, definitely. The tables have turned. In fact, I think the table will be completely smashed by all this turning. It's down to 1,000,000 pieces now, shattered all over the ground, and someone needs to boom it up. Certainly not gonna be me.
Absolutely, I don't think you're very prolific in doing that. You're better at telling a story. Odin once again got Vex in position. But most of the players, they are towards the A side. Outrun will be sent in, but Wim's position hasn't been checked yet. Hunter's Fury definitely will be there. Cleans out the most default angles, but nobody is checked so far. Wim takes in a little bit of damage, a tiny bit of damage. His position will be revealed, so he repositions. But I love the fact that KJ is still holding on any sort of action coming in from God Vexy towards the A side.
And while that's happening, the other killjoy in form of Hacker has been taken down. Oh no! More killjoy kills.
I don't know how he found that kill with the shock dart, but I would have loved to see that lineup. It probably was a lineup.
Yeah, that was brilliant. 4 versus 4, but keep in mind, always in a 4v4 situation, the odds favor the attackers. Except this time, there's a 3-man stack on the A side, so these guys are prepared. Nice flash. These guys have such a good read on this one. Orgless 5 know exactly where their opponents will be, and CT with his eyes closed still gets one. Blackhawk has his eyes open so he can shut them down, and Wimp then comes through as an insurance policy. And now you throw in everything you've got except the kitchen sink. It's a bit of an overkill when you're killing the last player with your ultimate, even though there's like 2 players haunting over him like an eagle.
Absolutely, but God Vexy had to use that. That was the last round of the half. A very, very dominating half from the side of Orgless 5, and not really giving a quarter of an inch to Salt Esports on this map so far. But it's opportunity for Salt Esports to maybe revert the trend right now, because they're the ones who are on the defensive side, and this is the moment when we see whether a KO is as impactful as a breach or not, because the KO was super impactful from Orgless 5 in the first half. The breach on Gunner has to be even more if they want to mount a comeback.
Will they be able to, though? It all starts with this pistol round, and given the way how Orgless 5 are splitting up in this pistol, it does seem to be an A fake with the B hit. Will they be able to fake it convincingly enough, though? There's 2 people on A main ready to intercept Blackhawk as he progresses further, but Stranger has spotted out one on mid. More information is being relayed because even Killjoy has been spotted on B, so they know for a fact that this is the default spread, and they shouldn't believe the first bite of information that is offered to them. But speaking of bite, Jivix literally chomps Hacker's head off.
He does. He absolutely does. Still a 5-man defense up and running, mid being guarded by Sova. The rest of the 2 sides has 2 players each. Aldrone being sent in the hunt of information, but at the end of almost a minute on the clock, there is no information or no real estate to work with. They still send in the knife to possibly make a shot execute happen. Darky does take down Blackhawk, forcing the players on site to move towards Winery. Zite finds that so much space, and with the sheriff, he finds a second one, almost a third on the Stranger, but no, Stranger reacts quicker.
All these players are isolated over here, and they're being offered 1v1 fights. Wimp gets the trade back, and now his fellow Astra on the other side of the map is trying to make his way in. Plant towards Generator. The wrong placement on the star, but that doesn't tell Wimp where his opponent is. He's still playing on Hell. And, you know, given the way this spike has been planted, one would expect him to be towards Generator, but will this opponent check for his angle? Will Demon pull his team out of the clutches of Hell and be the angel that they need? Or will Wimp send him back down to the place he belongs? No pistol win. Wimp will continue the streak.
That was a little harsh. Astras with no stars available had to play on the back of their guns. Wimp wide swings and takes him out. One shot to the head is all that he needs, and he obliges. 11-2 the scoreline, ladies and gentlemen, and this game has gone a little far and beyond what Team Salt Esports can maybe come back from. And at this point, their task definitely is going to be tough, but even getting a few rounds is going to be difficult because Team Orgless 5, they've got the momentum. Jivix forcing into that Marshall. You can see the entirety of almost Salt Esports forcing Aries up on board. You've got Stingers as well. One Nebula that stops this initial aggression that happens. Jivix gets away, almost hitting that shot, but not connecting so far. They've got that mid control. They're not moving forward yet. Shot has been blocked off, so no lines of sight for Jivix and his Marshall. Slowly moving forward, and the Aldrone will be sent in any time.
God, he's going in without utility. He still has another recon dart available in just a couple of seconds. Will he be able to use it though?
Costly.
Nope, Jivix denies him.
Very costly so far. Stranger using his barrage of bullets. Of course, he will be forced off that angle with the fragment coming in. Demon with the stinger can be a potential threat, but of course, Blackhawk will shut him down. Of course, a lot of kills coming through. Stranger still trying to make a difference. He's going to push out, but Blackhawk is going to shut him down.
Now, all the Sovas have done their bidding. It's down to the breaches to pull through this one. Wimp and Hacker still holding on, but the shots on Team Salt are just too strong. Oh my god, that is a good way to come back from a pistol loss. And they walk away with what? Ares and Vandals? That's brilliant. It was a bit of a risky move to purchase a Vandal in the second round itself, but now that risk is not paying off. So you cost them a little lifeline. You've given another chance to Salt Esports.
Yeah, absolutely. And they also have a safety net of not having to play on the back of a match point. for Orgless 5. One round is still a very big buffer, and this can be the start of a lot of rounds. Vandal on Yevix, the rest of the team can also buy in. You've got Ares all across the board, one Bulldog, one Vandal, heavy shields. Meanwhile, the other team, just a bunch of pistols to work with. It's going to be a little harsh, but what can they make out of it? They've got that mid presence moving towards on the back of one Nebula. They've almost made way themselves, coming in from market doors.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it was a bit weird. The region was completely unchecked, but at least they recover from it. Stranger also gets straight off. So Team Salt Esports, they're doing fine so far, but Team Orgless 5, they've actually done better on the back of some pistols. They're planting the spike now.
Yeah, and they even recovered the guns that were dropped. They're causing utility damage too. Imagine almost killing your enemies without even seeing their faces. That would be amazing. Time is ticking. And the side of Salt Esports don't have too much utility that's conducive to the retake. They don't have Rolling Thunders. They don't even have a fort line just yet. Yeah, they just about get it. But still, flashes are available, so that could be useful. Oh, and it pays off such massive dividends. God, Vexy still blind at the back. Very like that. And these guys continue the pressure. But I would not count this as a loss for the side of Team Orgless 5. It's an eco round. They got the plant. I think that's all they wanted.
100%. They've got 2 kills for themselves. They got the plant. Also, they've got a massive buffer to play with, so I'm pretty sure Orgless 5 will be very comfortable, but then you don't really want the other team to start a hype train, right? Because we've seen what hype trains do. Once it starts rolling, there's no way you can stop it. So I'm pretty sure Orgless 5 want to finish this as quick as possible. The only fear is that they shouldn't choke at this point. 2 more rounds, they can clean sweep, and this is going to be their first opportunity to do so because they've got the guns now. Of course, if they lose this, 3 players are on 0 cred, so that needs to be kept in mind.
Oh, I think it's going to be a fast one. Oh my god. They are using not only the Cosmic Divide, but also the Null Command. This means that Stranger cannot use his utility to reveal them and shoot them down.
Yeah.
Earlier, he was able to do it because as soon as someone gets revealed, he just shoots through the Nebula. Now, with the Cosmic Divide being in place and him being stopped, there's not much that he can do. They are forced to give up the side to Orgless, and Salt Esports have to go for a 5-man retake.
5-man retake. Darky coming in with his Ares. I guess Hacker will be spotted. Yes, he will. Yevix will take him down. Flashes come through. Blackhawk will try and get some kills on the back of it. Just gets 1. Wimp.
Still equalizing. I think he's been spotted playing a head-pitch angle, waiting for the bait for a CT, and it's perfect. He swings at the right time, and even the 1v1s don't get isolated. Darky good for only a single, and Orgless 5 get map point. Hell, this is match point. They worked so hard to get to this area, and now all their efforts are paying off.
Absolutely. 12-4, and 1 more round where they can reclaim back the throne. Orgless 5 on the verge of winning this best-of-3 series against Salt Esports would answer a lot of doubters who questioned their lineup. Of course, just like we said it, they had a new player in the form of Ascent, and he has proven himself in this game so far.
Oh, definitely. He's proven his weight worth in gold. And he might even be a bit bold this time around, trying to go in without any backup, all by himself. Oh, my anxiety meter is going up high again. At least he's got a spike with him, but the Astra doesn't have a position to back him up. He doesn't get revealed. Oh, this will be perfect. There is an alarm bot that will stop him, but I think that's okay. They can't fight across the Nebula, and he dashes into Generator. Now he's in a pinching position from where he can kill the people in A main, and they're already dead. Now he can focus towards the 3 region instead. Jivik still stopping people from crossing over the other side, but Hacker has already made his way. Gunner puts him in the grave, and Ascent now looking to make hay while the sun shines.
Second back for himself as well. It's a 1v1. Ascent spots Demon on 1v3 clutch to finish off a worthy addition for sure, but maybe even the MVP for the side of Team Orgless 5. The way he turns around games just by his sheer will. Of course, Cribs, you were right. He has to be one of the top 100 players in the region because the way he has been able to capitalize on opportunities, this man knows how to play the game.
I swear to God. And he also knows how to force errors out of his opponents. Like, first of all, when he predicted that Gunner will be in this region, that was fine. That was acceptable, right? Because he let them stay towards the Nebula and then he walked into generators without waiting for his teammates, hoping to
Yeah.
clear out the site first. That was all fine, but then the way he turns around and kills both the breach and even puts the killjoy in a little bit of pressure, that was amazing. But up until that point, he had backup of his teammates. After that, the way he isolates those two 1v1 frags and still goes to fight the last player on the edge of the tree region, that's just incredible. How he's able to pull off stuff like this, it depends on just his raw individual fragging power. Because let's be honest, towards the tail end of that round, all strategy had been thrown out the window. It all boiled
Yeah.
down to trading.
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen. We'll find out what happened in a little detail in the highlights, which are going to be coming up on your screen very soon. This map, as far as it was dominating, I feel like it was just an Orgless 5 show. Because right from the get-go, every single one of their players had opportunities to show their skills. God Vexy with the Ares, with the Odin. This was just one occasion where he just showed his class. There were multiple more as well, especially when he picks up that Odin for himself.
Oh yeah, I mean, God Vexy was such an annoying guy to deal with in that back boathouse region. Usually, you see the Sova with the big gun playing towards lane one and trying to spam anyone who's coming from B main, but not this man. He's patient all the way back there, and as soon as they try to drop out of the first lane, that's when he starts spraying. And given the angle that he has, he can always pre-fire them, and he will connect.
Yeah, absolutely. Blackhawk also, again, very, very influential with the KO. Again, just like you mentioned, this was probably one of the first times I saw Blackhawk play the KO, and he did his job with finesse. The way he was using his knife to suppress the player's reveal, get information, but also stop the players from making their move. Salty Sports was definitely annoyed. And also the pop flash from KO isn't his most sought after ability, but Blackhawk made appropriate use of it, getting a lot of frags on the back of it. The fragment was ever so devastating, and also in the attacking half, the fragment is useful. Wim, this was one of his signature moments as well. So, I mean, you can see that this was a team effort right from the start, and Oculus 5 were hell bent on not letting this game go out of their hands.
Oh, definitely. It did fall a little out of their hands when we saw Icebox, didn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, I
Yeah.
really thought that Salty Sports will win Haven without any difficulty, but then Orgless 5 got that massive comeback from 9-3 to 13-11. That comeback was not really possible on Icebox, even though the score was the exact same, 9-3. But this time, Orgless 5 are the ones who turned the tide around. We've never seen them take the lead in the series, but then everyone started to hit their shots. In fact, Godvixie was even hitting shots on people he cannot see through the walls. So when that stuff starts to happen, Orgless 5 really start to shine. And these guys pulled up their socks, they lifted their own weight, and they powered through this long, tiring series.
Yeah. It's not just God Vexy who was hitting shots without even being seen. It was the CD as well, and he was hitting AWP shots. That man had one bullet to hit, and he hit them as well. So this entire team literally went into Super Saiyan mode when it actually mattered. The map of Haven is theirs right from the start till the very end. Salty Sports had no chance. I mean, the only chance which, there was one phase when I thought the Salty Sports might be able to get a few rounds for themselves. A comeback was really, really away from. But yeah, for sure, it didn't really happen. 2 rounds for Salty Sports in the second half. 13-4 is the scoreline. And you can see the MVPs. CJ truly deserving the throne. I feel like he will be the new man to watch out for from the side of Orgless 5. And he deserves the crown for himself, doesn't he, Crips?
Definitely. I mean, it's such a good find as well, right? I had never heard of Asita before up until today, but boy, oh boy, he's already on my radar, and we need to keep an eye on this man throughout the tournament now. Filling in the shoes of Sai and Excali is not an easy task, but Asite is doing it so well. Even Hacker, for that matter, he might not have the most amount of kills in this team, but the way he was setting up his team for success is also amazing. He's acting like the bodyguard of the team, and he's protecting them with their lives. Oculus 5 take this series 2-1, and in a phenomenal fashion, they make a reverse sweep possible. Amazing stuff. But let's see how this impacts the overall storylines of the tournament when we head into the group standings. That will tell us exactly how much trouble Oculus 5 is in, because this has been one of their more important wins. They
Yeah.
haven't been having the best time in the tournament, and the first few games that they played, they did not win them.
Yeah.
So
Ex-
yeah,
Exactly.
these
It was a 1-1 for Orgless 5, as far as I can remember. They probably were sitting at second or third position with like 3 points. They lost the match against God Particles, and but they could get away with a map victory. So they had 3 points to work with, if I'm right, if my math is right. And when we'll find out about the group standings, I'm pretty sure Salt Esports will also be not really up high as well, because they are one of the teams who potentially could go to playoffs this season. But considering their early performances, this kind of looks like a little problematic for them. We eventually find out what the Group B standings are like. Orgless 5, they get 5 points for themselves, right behind Enigma and God Particles. So they're still in the game, they're still in the tournament with sort of a nice positioning, I would say. But Salty Sports, their condition doesn't really look all that good, because with 3 points, now the math becomes complicated, because Salty Sports, if they let this slide from their hands, their qualification will depend on the math and the results of the other 4 teams that are beneath them right now.
yeah, but at least Salt Esports still have quite a lot of games remaining in the tournament. They've only played 3 so far, and I want to see what they do against the stronger teams like Enigma and God Particles. I think the whole loss of Haven kind of threw them off, but maybe Salt Esports can bounce back. Either way, this was a crucial win for Orgless 5. I mean, I can't imagine them dealing with all the lineup changes and all the instability around them, but still finding the composure to mount impossible comebacks, and that too against strong teams. So, hats off to Orgless 5 for pulling off this win today. That is it from our side today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you guys are watching the LG Ultragear TEC Gauntlet Season 4. Our sponsors are Crucial. Our apparel partner is 6x6, and of course, shout out to LG Ultragear as well for making all this possible. You can scan the QR codes below to get your Red Bull cans. And of course, whenever you are in lack of some Valorant action, tune into the Esports Club channel anytime. In fact, I would even recommend subscribing to it and hitting the bell icon so that you can make sure that you are known and notified every time we go live. Gauntlet is not the only tournament that's going on this channel. We have the Zotac Cup as well, and a lot more exciting stuff coming up for you guys. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Same time, same place.